calling down my name. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, midnight highway, shining just like sin. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Tell me, river, where your current flows. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, stop your freight train, little lost man ride. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Fare you well, darling, ain't coming back no more. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Who been whispering since I've been gone so long? Freedom calling.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Working?
Work. I'm a tech
Okay,
whiz
beautiful,
now.
Beautiful. Well, better than I am. I've been out of the game for a long time.
Lucky
long
you.
time. But
Yes. So do you want your image on here or not?
I wanted you to see who I am, to verify that I'm not a bullshit guy, you know, that everything I tell you is absolutely the truth and the way it is, right? I just don't want my face. That's why I sent you that message to do with some of the family. And I do have a younger brother that is still serving in the United States military at a high intelligence capacity at the Pentagon.
Okay.
Well, I'll just say it. He's a colonel. He's trying to make general. So,
Poor bastard.
yeah, I'm the one that brought him in the military originally. And I really felt terrible. He got blowed up by an IED in Iraq, and wasn't a good thing.
No.
Okay, a lot of us.
Go on to the bottom of the panel here and just turn off your video. Your audio stay. It takes your image off of it.
That one?
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
So we'll keep your name out of this too, right?
Hang on. I'll show you some things here real quick before I turn that off. I live here in the Philippines. That's where we're talking. So I'm surprised I got decent service. I'm going to carry the laptop into the other room, show you some of the things. My wife, I don't know, I was pretty disillusioned when I left the military, but I wasn't kidding you. This is, I was living on oxygen for a while. Retired honorably, 23 years.
All right.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of, she saved a lot of these ribbons and awards, and things like this. Okay.
All good.
This one up here, that's your government contract job. I told you I worked for a secret organization for the U.S. government.
Okay.
The other one over here, if you can see it, hang on a minute. Yes, I was also police. I did that for 3 years, all right, and I had enough of it. And why is it telling me to fix this tab? Fix the tab that's slowing your browser down. I don't know.
Well, if you've got other tabs open, you want to close them all. That's all it wants you to do, I think.
Sorry. Okay. Let me see. I just want to make sure I don't mess us up.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. Hey, shit, I got to plug the mouse back in. Hang on.
Seems to be loading us up both pretty good.
Okay, I said fix this tab. Got it. All right. And, oh, one more thing. Yeah, 100% disabled veteran. I worked in the intelligence and reconnaissance community. Shitty places.
No doubt.
And, yeah. I don't know. Can you read that?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I got no questions about who you are. My gut makes all my decisions no matter what I'm looking at. My gut's screaming, let's talk. I'm sure
I want to give you the utmost respect for what you're doing.
Appreciate it, man.
And I'm the one that sent you the email and said you really got to watch your back.
Yeah.
And I wasn't kidding. When right after we talked, then I get a freaking letter and threatening me on my benefits and everything else.
Why?
That's what I live on. I can't do a damn thing about it. You know, it's funny. They called me to go to war in Ukraine. Apparently, they can't find enough young guys willing to volunteer to be cannon fodder.
No,
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
People are wising up.
Yeah, they are. And, okay, I guess I'll close this. Only, for me, I don't care about myself. I don't give a damn about myself. I'm trying to protect other people, though. You know, that's the only reason. But this needs to be out into the public. And I'm really sick and tired of the BS like you are.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you trying to get this truth out. One of the one thing I wanted to get to you too was that I understand what you're saying about the upbringing. That's why I really would rather do this where you could see me. I know what it's like growing up with abuse. I know what it's like to watch your mother pinned down on the floor with somebody beating her, and you're a small child and you're helpless to do a damn thing about it, and then to get locked into buildings and places underground and get beat and made to eat your own vomit and all those kinds of things. Been there, done that.
Lovely.
And I'm the oldest, so I got a bunch of younger brothers. And then when you get to a certain age, when you're growing up like that, it does something to a person. And I did kind of like you did. If they can't handle you, they call the police, right? And 17 years old and homeless. Wow, that's a hell of a way to start out in life, isn't it? But I really love what you're doing. You stand up for the defenseless. I've done it all my life. I had no choice, you know. I mean, it's ingrained in me. So I wanted to get that. Kudos to you that you didn't let it eat you alive. I did let it eat me alive, all right? So that's my beginning of the career. That was my way out because I knew the way I was at that time, I was going to be living life in prison or dead.
Same.
And,
no funny.
So I had to make a change, and I decided I would sign up for the United States military and get as far away as I could. And yeah, the thing is, I was such an asshole. I mean, I'm being honest with you. They encouraged it, you know, going into the reconnaissance, intelligence, SF guys, you know, that kind of thing. Well, violence is just part of the nature, right? The more violent you are, the better it was. So they loved me.
That's what they want.
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted and encouraged it very much.
Quick side note on that. I was with the that SEAL team commander, Rourke Denver in Alabama. We were hunting in Texas, and he was telling me that over 50% of those guys are bad people.
Yeah, you're exactly right. May even be more than that. Well, at least 50%, but that's why you see my rank as SSG. I was acting command sergeant major when I retired. And when you take a stand, I got tired of burying my friends every goddamn day. I'm sorry for my language. I do have Christian beliefs. But I know what that suicide road looks like. When you're finding them dead, have an argument with one of your friends on a bad mission, they go home, blow their brains out in front of the family. And I blamed myself for that, had a hard time dealing with that, so I kind of went down the same road. And then the guy that told me not to do it, I found him dead in his car in front of the military unit, so I'm like, wow. I said, man, this is messed up. But
one after the other, right? One after the other.
Yeah, one after the other, so somebody has to have their back, some of the good guys, right? And yeah, the private military contract work, we were mixed up. You got Marines, SEALs. SEAL Team 7 was my team leader. But I'm Army, right? It's a brotherhood. It depends on the job specialty and the skill set that you have, right? 4,300 of us applied for that position. We really didn't know what we were getting into. 33 of us graduated. Plane waiting every day. One of the hardest schools I'd ever been into in my life. Fail is not an option. You got one chance. In other words, you got the academics, you got the physical, and you got the sniper qual, right? And if you made one wrong answer, you got one chance to retake, you're done. Pays really good money to do bad things. That's what you find out after the fact, and you're never allowed to retire. So
Really?
the CIA school, no, you can't.
But they can stop paying?
Oh yeah. What they will do is they'll give you a phone call and tell you to keep your mouth shut, that kind of thing. Do your non-disclosure agreements and all that. And give you an idea, they handle the contract for Area 51, or at least they used to. I've been out of the game for a long time. Being a bad guy pays good money. Trying to do the things the right way doesn't pay so well, and they don't like you and they hate your guts.
What kind of money are we talking? Just out of quick curiosity.
Well, at the very basic, just starting from the beginning, that's at that time, we're talking more than 30, oh God almighty, how many years ago is it? 30, holy crap, around 30 years ago, I guess. It was $86,000 for 9 months of work. They give you a vehicle, they give you your phone, they give you everything, and yeah, Steve, they had technology and communication systems that we were not allowed to have in the U.S. military, but yet they were using them. And you have to go through some of the CIA intelligence training as well as the FBI basic training academy as part of the requirement. But you don't go, they send them to you. You're in a lockdown facility, all right, 24/7, and you're only selected from a certain group of job specialties and skill sets. Minimum 6 years combat veteran. That's a minimum. Can't even get in the front door without it. But they, the way they advertise it to you, hey, you're going to make all this money. In 2 years, you'll be a millionaire. I'm like, are you kidding me? So $86,000 was your base pay. You're off for 3 months paid. That doesn't include bonuses or anything else, right? But you have to do what they tell you to do. And, so yeah, whether you're guarding some government shitbag or whether you're deployed to 26 countries in 2 hours notice.
Causing a war.
From the time, well, yeah, they are. I don't agree with what's going on in Ukraine or Iran or any of it, all right, to be honest with you.
Because the receipts are out there.
No, they are. And I don't agree with what's happening. Once I got through that school and I started meeting the other, Delta guys and SEALs and everybody else, and I'm nobody, all right? I'm not trying to say that I'm this great guy, did all these special things. No, not at all. Just a common everyday Joe that had a hard upbringing that had to, make myself. You know, there's that these people don't have an excuse. They're like, I did, you went through this and that, and I can't make it. Bullshit. You make it yourself, right? And that's what I admire about you, and you're still doing it. That's why I worry about you. It's guys like you that we need, right? But I'm telling you, Steve, my job was to track humans. I wasn't out hunting deer.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are after. And there's a million different ways they got to do it. You know, so whether it's satellite reconnaissance, I worked on a lot of technology. We got to try it out. There's no excuse for missing children. If I see you, I don't have to see you. If you walk into the woods and I get you within 72 hours, I don't have to see you. I can track you, right? It doesn't matter whether you go underground, above ground. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Right. And they've had that technology since about 2006. When I went in, it was the late 80s, early 90s, to give you an idea. Then I got out in 2012. I went to an inactive status due to my health reasons, right? You know, how many broken bones can you have? And then the toxins in the lungs. And part of the reason that that's part of the reason I want to disclose some of these things. I'm really sick and tired of the lies. And people, their emotions get manipulated, right? And that's just part of psychological operations. There was an agreement. We were never supposed to do this to our own people. We were never supposed to use this technology in the United States or the North American continent as far as that goes, right? But the 5G, the 6G, all this stuff, and then resonance, frequency, vibration, they don't have to spy on your phone. All I got to do, hollow block, that's a bug. Your glass on your windows is a bug. It's called sound, resonance, frequency, vibrational, right? All I got to do, and I'm telling you, and I've been out for a while, knew all this already, making you hear your little voices in your head, but I can make you feel good. Make you feel like you got an angel talking to you. Okay? That's what I was listening to your other interview. But I didn't want to disclose this stuff because it messes with people's religious beliefs and everything else. Now, I'm hardcore Christian beliefs because of what I've seen. Right? Because a lot of this technology, they didn't get it. They didn't create it. They acquired it.
Right.
Right? And I know
that's an obvious one too.
Right. And that's why I got threatened the way I did, I guess. At the time, when you're dying, you don't really give a shit. When I told you in the email that when they had given me a 5-year death sentence, basically, I got real sick. I couldn't even get out of bed and walk to the end of the room. I didn't know what was wrong with me. This is during COVID, right?
Right.
And when I went in there, I asked the doctor, I was like, man, they gave me 11 COVID tests. Then they started doing blood tests, and they had all kinds of people in ICU with the same problems. Never had COVID. They could not identify what the hell I had. I said, unknown virus. Yeah.
In the Philippines?
But the thing is, no, United States.
Okay.
No, I came to the Philippines after I was given my little death sentence. And I tried to make peace with God and all of that good stuff and with my family. But I also took a stand for our children in the United States. My son, I think, was only... How old was Jacob, honey? The first time, he was only a kinder. I have a young son, but I have older grown ones. I got grandkids, all that stuff. But the youngest one, they were trying to force the transgender thing. They were trying to make little boys go into the bathroom and sit like little girls, and they put little cat litter dishes up there. Wrong answer. Those are not their kids. I went to the school, and I had a problem with them. That's when first time they threatened to throw me in jail. I said, my son is a son. He's not a girl, he's not a he, she, he's not LGBT, whatever you want to call it, right? And they said that I didn't have the right. I said, bullshit, that's my boy. I have every right. And my job is to lay my life down for my family, number one, and you need men in this country, and I'm sick and tired of these pansies running around that will not defend their country. If they don't like it, get out.
Oh, right? Man.
The reason I left the United States wasn't because I love the country. I love Canada. It's a beautiful place up there. But the only way, your leadership sucks. Our leadership sucks. And when I took a stand against the things that were going on, I'm going to go to jail. And I'm like, well, what kind of father am I if I'm stuck in a jail? And then my son got stabbed in class at 9 years of age. Nobody stopped
shit.
it. 32 kids. 32 kids. Every one of them gets stabbed in a class at 9 years old, right? And I'm taking my son to the hospital trying to make sure he hasn't got lead poisoning or something like this. And the teacher said, oh, I was not allowed to intervene. What do you mean you're not allowed to intervene? Wow, right? And then that's what cut it for me. 3 months later, 3 of those classmates, it was like 3 months later when 3 of his classmates died. So some older kids were passing down these vapes, and they have this drug called fentanyl, right?
Right.
And they died. And I couldn't believe 9-year-old kids dying from drugs. Anyways, I'm sorry to go into all that, but
Let me say, but just make sure you withhold some details, because the more you give out like that, it's going to be easier to narrow down exactly what school and who that was.
yeah.
So,
Well, the
to
state
draw a
was
line to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And I am trying to watch some of that. Like I said, I haven't really spoken to anyone about any of this. And you're right about money, stupid taker. All right?
Oh, yeah.
You're absolutely right. I can tell you some history on him.
Yeah.
All right. I'll drop going into all the political crap and all that. I think we're on the same page. But,
Absolutely. It's like, I'm sure you've heard my stance numerous times.
Absolutely.
I voiced it. I was saying that with the first time a grown man, if I had small children, dresses as a sexually provocative hooker and is in a room with the door closed reading anything, I don't care. He's never going to do it again.
Exactly right. And pretty much me and my whole family feel the same way about it, to be honest with you. I just don't want to drag them into a mess, and how, because of the sensitive nature of some of their careers, right?
Right.
Father, Vietnam veteran, cancers ate him up. And I know I told you about abuse. All right, so I want to clarify something on that abuse. Yeah, it's terrible. And the people going there were doing abuse as well. The thing is that his father, my grandfather, World War II veteran, 3.5 years, Japanese prison camp, fought here, Battle of Bataan, Philippines, survived a death march, put him on a train, sent him over there, burned, beat, tortured, the whole deal for 3.5 years, watched Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the nuclear bombs, wrote 5 biographies. When you come home from something like that in World War II, right, there's no such thing as PTSD. There's no treatment for that. You go live your life, right? And that's why the kids caught hell. All right, that's where the abuse came from.
Wow.
And then you abuse your kids, right? And then you turn around, and then he's got to go to Vietnam, and you got to witness that hell that was going on over there. And then you come home after you was already raised up one way, and then you turn around and go through a different type of psychological abuse as well as physical, and then, right? So
Damn.
I broke the chain.
Good for you.
And he did break the chain. It was hard. It broke him too, in a lot of ways. I do love him. I do respect him. At the time, I wanted to kill him. This wasn't something overnight. It took a lot of years. Okay?
No doubt.
And, some of this does permanent damage to people. Some people cannot mentally handle certain things, and it destroys their life, right? And I was the other way. I was the fighter type, but one of the younger ones, he had some problems. When you would think he had some kind of disease. He's in there twitching around all the time, real jumpy. Broke my heart to see it, but mostly come out of it now. All right, sorry to go on that.
That's
because
all right.
it has everything to do with what is going on, I think. So your little kid coming up, first experience, 5 years of age. All right. Wow. I think my father was involved with some special projects in the United States Air Force, okay? I know that he was, oh man, I gotta be careful. Special aircraft. But we know they exist, that he worked on. in certain areas that are censored in the country, and basically almost nobody can get there, right? But I don't know anything about it. I'm a child. Anyways, I see your so-called men in black. The black car pulls up, two guys in suits, very strange looking. They go in. It's almost like they hypnotized him. He goes in, he gets some documents, get in the car, they leave, never see him again. Funny thing is I'm probably about 5. I'm going to sleep. I've got a younger brother. Remember I told you we were going through some tough times, right, family-wise? And I wake up, and I'm on a metal table. And I'm on a stainless steel metal table, a bunch of bright lights around me, and I'm getting needles stuck in me from every direction from these so-called ETs everybody's talking about that they think they're your friends. And from that, it was just a horror show from that time on. I watched it happen to my brother.
Where was this?
Ohio.
No shit. What do these people look like?
That were doing this? These are entities. They were wearing like lab coats, and they were wearing masks. They, the big black eyes, the whole deal, but they were wearing like lab coats, though, is the thing. And the lights are so bright that you're blinded, and then you get all these needles. And then after that, they had to keep taking me to the hospital because my head always felt like it was going to explode. I'd get like migraine headaches. Don't understand it. And I think that started the terror that was going on with us. And then I watched him do it to my younger brother. So we were terrified. And we ended up sleeping together in the same bed, which is a big no-no at that time. My father wanted us to have separate rooms, all of that, and we get ourselves spanked a lot. Because we were terrified, because we didn't know what was going to happen to us next.
Your dad knew this was going down?
Well, I tried to tell him. We tried to tell him the monsters were coming. Because as a fight, you don't know how to explain it, right? Tried to explain this kind of thing, and he didn't believe us. The kids are making up stories, it's, wow. And that, I think, whatever they did is what opened up, what led us into this demonic realm, the Bigfoot realm, all of these crazy things. Because then the first experience I ever had with one of these creatures was 5.5, maybe 6, somewhere in there. I remember just celebrating a 5th birthday. I'm looking out the window of the place that we live. And back in the early 70s, very rural communities, sparsely populated. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, to be honest with you, at this point in time. So I see one of these creatures circling our house at night, and it's looking up at us. One of these Sasquatch type creatures.
Outside your house? Outside the house looking up at the window?
Yeah, walking around the house looking up. We were a 2-story house, and we had a bedroom on the 2nd floor. My brother had a bedroom and I had a bedroom, but of course we'd always end up sleeping in the same bed, scared to death. And I seen this thing walking around looking at us. At the time, I didn't know what it was. Didn't know have a name for it, none of that. And first it was just that. I seen this thing walking around, and then my mother started having terrible nightmares. I'm like, what is going on? And then one night, because my father was working night shift, me and my mother and my brother were walking from the kitchen to the living room downstairs. Okay, and this happened upstairs. And then we see this creature, the same one we had seen outside, comes walking down the stairs in our house. Yeah. Yeah. And basically, it's a shock. We were paralyzed. I couldn't move. I couldn't react. I mean, it was like it paralyzed us. We couldn't react at all. And my mother remembers a little bit, but most of her memory's gone on that. But me and my brother, yeah, we know. And I was like, man, it looks like the typical Sasquatch. It looked like a human being covered in hair, basically, but more of a caveman style. And it didn't make any noise. It came down. At that age, guessing the size is difficult. I'm going to say, because it was a hell of a lot bigger than my father, so I'm going to say it was around 8 feet, around 8 feet tall, because it couldn't fit under the ceiling. It had to lean its head down and hunch its shoulders. And the weight of the stairs, they were made out of wood, they were bending. They were bowing under its weight. I thought the stairs were going to collapse.
Holy shit.
And yeah, that's basically. And then, I'm told, you guys got to go upstairs and go to bed.
By who?
By
Who said that?
Not my mother, my father, right? When he comes home tonight. Why are you guys down here? Well, we're terrified. And he doesn't believe us. Didn't believe us,
Where did this
right?
being go? How did it exit the house?
It turned around after it stared at it seemed like it stared at us forever. We couldn't move. And this is the thing that gets me, because obviously I've replayed this 100 million times. It turned around and walked back up the steps. But how long were we there like that? Because our memories, there's a lot missing here. I don't understand what happened. We went about our business as if it was not, as if it had never been there, until we started going up to go to bed, as little kids. And then it just hit us. Hey, wait a minute. This thing was just here, this monster, right? That's all we knew. And to give you, my brother's only about 2 years younger than me, to give you an idea. So we are pretty close in age. And so we were terrified. We didn't want to go up there and lay down. And then we were going to take the beatings over it because we don't want to go up there and lay down. We're terrified as little kids because we know what's upstairs, right? This
And
thing.
your mom was up there at the time?
And my mom was downstairs, but she tried to tell him. I tried to tell him. My younger brother tried to tell him. He didn't believe us. But I didn't know that all during this time he was dealing with his own demons, my father. But he didn't want to tell nobody what he was dealing with. Okay? That'll come into play later. That's why I was trying to give you an idea from the childhood.
Gotcha.
I know I don't have time to go into all this because you don't have that much time.
That's all right.
It's been a lifelong bunch of baloney. So, as a little kid, you're terrified, and you're always a liar, of course. Oh, you're making this up. It's your imagination. Finally, we move from this place. We go to another house out in the country that he wanted to buy, and I was happy for that. Lots of, you can play, you can go in the woods, all this stuff in a rural area of Ohio. But you got to remember, I also grew up in the mountains of Kentucky. So I'm kind of southeastern Kentucky and Ohio. Okay, so we were living in both places. But at the time, this is a rural area in Ohio. And when we just moved into this place, they didn't even have a bed yet. They just had a couch, and I was in the front room, and I'm laying on a couch, and I'm only about, maybe 7 years old. And I see this thing looking through the window at me. It didn't even have curtains up yet. Just moved in. And I'm thinking, well, how did it find me? Was the first thought. I'm a little kid, and I'm thinking, well, how did this thing find me, right?
Same one?
How is this possible? It looked like the same one, exactly. So that really makes you wonder, what kind of things are we dealing with here, right? What is going on? That doesn't make any sense, right? And after that experience, and back in the 70s, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on with people, and you still had the end of the 60s and the early 70s, you had the love generation, all that stuff going on. And I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but I'll try to skip forward past that. I can fill in all the gaps, but we would be here for 5 hours, right?
Right.
So I'm going through. Now we're in Kentucky. I'm staying down there, and I'm with the grandfather. 1899, by the way, is when he was born. I'm not 60 yet. I'm still under 60. So I was just lucky enough to have a grandfather that's seen, World War I and World War II and the Korean War and the Vietnam War, all that. I think he died in 1987, approximately. And they weren't even sure how old he was. Well, he was born in 1899. He wasn't young, that's for sure. Seen a lot. Taught me a lot. He was the one that got me really into guns and shooting and all that good stuff. And of course, be honest, we weren't rich people. Everybody was scrambling for jobs when they come back from Vietnam. They didn't have any jobs, right? And they were trying to go to the factories, and then that family there on my mother's side down in Kentucky, that grandfather was like my father. I love that man dearly. Taught me a lot. So it's poor. Sometimes you're poor people and you don't know you're poor. You know? We had everything we needed. We went to the woods. Hey, we need deer meat. Okay, John, today you're going to go get us some rabbits and squirrels. Okay. Yeah, what did you catch on your lines out in the river? Okay, you know, that's what we're eating tonight. Okay, got it. Get the bar of soap, go to the river, take a bath, you know, draw the well water out, all that kind of thing. They didn't even have a TV. They just had a little radio. They would, you know, because it's so far into the mountains there. Daniel Boone National Forest, southeastern Kentucky, part of the Appalachian Trail goes through. It's a pretty remote area, right? And then a grandfather teaching me things, right? And the reason I mention that is because as you're growing up as a kid, there's a lot of things going on. I'm being told these stories about the wild people, right? The crazy people and wild people and crazy women and wild women. And my grandfather telling me, John, you need to be careful when you're out there because there's things out there. And but we didn't have a name for it, right? But these people, all the way from 1899 all the way through, we knew about them. And he says, if you leave them alone, they leave you alone. And then I had uncles that were down there doing the not so good stuff, you know, making moonshine, that sort of thing.
Surviving.
And, yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, a lot of it happened when the government started regulating all the tobacco farms, because they had tobacco farms and they control how much you can grow, all of it, and they just killed their economy.
Yeah.
Coal mines, one of them worked in a coal mine, the other one was a lumberjack, cut lumber all the time and had a sawmill, right? That was basically what you had to do, or you had to run a farm. And I was learning how to basically do all three. You know, I had to go clean up after they started going into strip mining operations later on. And anyways, man, I could go off on a lot, couldn't I? All right.
So you're starting to hear everybody talking about these things in the woods and not to go in there and
to be very careful when I go in there. But my grandfather talked like they were a people, right? And at that time, you still had some old Native American Indians. He used to go trading with the medicine man if he needed somebody was sick, because you didn't have the money to always run to a doctor, and it was a long distance away if you needed to be treated. They used all the old home remedies, right? And some of them are not so good, like eating salve. You know, that's not a good one. I don't like that. I've been there, done it. You know, turpentine if you get stings, you know. I was like, ah, man. Yeah. I mean, old school stuff, right?
Yeah.
If somebody has a baby, it's at the house. You know, there's she giving birth at the house. I mean, the dead, you keep them there at the house and have wakes. And yeah, it's very old school, traditional stuff. Very simple, but beautiful people. You know, they knew how to survive.
Yeah.
And he was the one. He said there's some crazy people out here, and then he said there's some people out here that are wild people. I ran into them, and if you don't bother them, they won't bother you. I said okay, but I honestly did not understand nothing about it at the time, because he said there's a whole family of them out there. Just be careful. But I had never been bothered by them at that time. But I had no idea he was talking about Bigfoot, Sasquatch type creatures. I didn't know, because I had heard stories about these, what do they call them? Feral people. And apparently there is definitely a difference. There really is some feral people that live in some of these cave systems, but there's also these Sasquatch wild type people that are also out there. And my family members growing up had dealings with both of those. They'd run into them. And wow, that's some crazy stuff right there. But as a little kid, I wanted to go in the woods. You know, I'm little. It was okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, I'm running around in the woods. That was the most beautiful place. I loved to be there. I felt at peace. I get to, you know, hunt whatever I want to hunt, do whatever I want, right? And that's when I'm getting these warnings. And then things start going downhill, because I got a particular uncle. I call him a bootlegger, the one that was making shine. They're trying to find ways to make money. And he starts this pot growing thing out there. This has been many years ago. All right, remember, I'm only like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
And something had come around and destroyed some of his plants, and they left these huge footprints. And my other uncle, who is deaf, he was born that way, had his little Polaroid camera he used to run around with. And he took a picture of some of the plants because they were proud of how big it was, or how tall, I don't know. But when he took the picture, he got a Sasquatch standing behind the plant in the background, the full thing. And I would like to have that picture right now. Polaroid, you can't make that up. Right?
Well, it's funny. It's a quick side note, injection here. I had a guy not too far from where I was previously living, and there was an old guy there who was going up and taking these beings food, and he had some clear Polaroids of them. And they went and looked, couldn't come up, and the guy died. But yeah, so it's not a first to hear that a Polaroid pulls it off.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't know. I had I had no idea. I figured maybe somebody might have had some because they had them. And anyways, years go by.
Did you see the Polaroid?
Yeah, absolutely.
What'd it look like?
Yeah, it looked exactly. Well, no, it was kind of a reddish brown hair, and it had. I would say the hair looked to me like about. Looking at a picture of it, it looked like it was about 3 inches long. Face wasn't covered though, just the head, the hair on the top of the head, and to me it looked like a bearded man covered in hair. It was basically when I seen the picture, but it had brown eyes. You know, it didn't have black. It was brown eyes, like a human, like a brown-eyed human.
That's what a close picture.
Like. And he was standing behind the plant. He was taking a picture of it. I couldn't believe he didn't see it. That's what amazed me.
Yeah.
And it was years, they had that picture, I don't know how many years before I had ever seen it. And he didn't realize what he got in the picture, and I can't believe that he didn't see that, right? I picked that up, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You know? I was like...
Did you point it out to him? Like, he never saw it in the photo himself?
No, he didn't realize it.
Crazy.
What they were looking at was he took the picture of the plant, but he was also the tracks. They were trying to look at the big tracks that were around their plants, and some of them had been pulled out by the roots, and they were mad. And my uncle got a group of guys to go with him because he thought somebody was trying to steal his plants. So you get 4 or 5 hillbillies armed with rifles, and they're going down. Yeah, exactly. He thought there was a human. Because, there are people in the hills. I ran around barefooted myself, down here. Even though you shouldn't do it. It's a good way to get snake bit, I found out. Yeah, at least it wasn't a poisonous snake I stepped on. But anyways, yeah. He started arming himself. It took a group of guys with him down there because those plants, I don't know what he was growing. I mean, how valuable they were at that time. I mean, we're talking many years ago. And I'm a kid, But you start growing up, a lot of the neighbors had reported some strange things going on. I've seen animals that were absolutely tore apart down there. They couldn't explain it. I don't know. To me, it didn't look like a normal... I mean, you got coyotes, we got bear. I mean, hell, I even tracked deer and got ran over by them, scared them, spooked them. But I had never seen anything tore apart the way... You have to have hands to open a gate the way that this was done. And all the chickens, basically, something had opened a gate, and I don't know, must have been 50 or 60 of it. It went in there, and I don't know if it ate anything. It just ripped everything apart and scattered it through the whole pasture there. Never understood that, but the people, they were really scared. They were talking about monsters and all this, but nobody ever said anything if they had seen it, right? So I don't know. I'm just saying there was a lot of things like that happened till I got to about 15, and at 15 is when things really took a turn. I don't know if you did this or not. We used to go out and we would wait till about 11 p.m. to collect the fish worms. The dew comes up out of the ground, and the worms come up, and you can just go around and get a bunch of them, right, for bait.
Night crawlers.
Yeah, night crawlers. We'd go out and get them. And when we went out there, and I guess I should have told you, we had a horse, and cattle and, chickens and all that stuff, and dogs, cats, you name it. And the horse came running up from the lower pasture right towards the house. And I mean, it was jumping in the air and just coming up on its legs and whining and the whole deal. And something spooked the heck out of it. We thought, maybe it's a bear. I mean, our first thought. And me and my uncle that's deaf, we were the one, I was out with him. And at that time, I'm the ears. He can't hear, but he's got eyes like a hawk. That makes up for it, right? And I hear this thumping in the ground. And I mean, it sounded like almost like a bull. The weight of a bull, but two-legged, right? Can't see a damn thing. It's night, Appalachian Mountains at night, in a remote area. Got a little bit of moonlight, but I hear this boom, 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 boom coming. And couldn't see a damn thing. And we had 5 dogs. All 5 of the dogs, and me and my uncle, he must have felt the vibration in the ground or something, because the 5 dogs and me and my uncle are all wrapped up together trying to get in the damn same door at the same time when this is coming through the field. That's why the horse was running and jumping and all this. And this thing, well, my uncle beat me in the house and the dogs got me tangled up. Hit the side of me. Went right by me and hit the side of me. Just brushed against the side of me when it went by. I still didn't see it when it brushed against the side of me. And the steel gate, it bent it like a bow. It hit it and bent it at an angle and kept on going. Now we're in the mountains and we're on a mountain. So it's steep. And the pasture's on the side of a mountain. And this thing was so fast, I didn't see it. And I know that it could have something that big and that heavy to run through there. It sounded like a bulldozer almost coming through there, right? To go across the gate. So that really put the fear of God in me when that happened, and I really I didn't go out at night anymore after that. And I was done. Remember, I was back and forth between Ohio and Kentucky. All right, I went down there to help him work the farm and do the hay, cut the wood, get all of the farm chores. Then I go to Ohio. So I was back and forth. So during the months I'm out of school, I'm in Kentucky. But during the school year, then I'm in Ohio. It was kind of like that. So kind of back and forth, other than holidays when we went down to visit. Well, this is before I went in the military. Yeah, it was, because I was a teenager when I went in the military. A few years later, we went down at the same place, but we were at my uncle's house, which is up above the area I just talked about. I wished I could just show you. I still have pictures of it. But we were gathering for breakfast early in the morning because, on the farm, I don't know what time we get up, but we got up at 4 a.m. The rule was the animals come first, then you can go in and eat your breakfast. It was kind of like that. So it's still dark when we're out there trying to take care of all the animals and everything, right? And turn the cattle out in the pasture and all this stuff. And we went up to my aunt's house, and it had to be 4:30, between 4:30 and 5 a.m. maybe. Homemade food, Steve. Homemade biscuits, gravy, all that good stuff. And
Best.
they're all in there. And when I told you there was about 17 people. There's about 17 people. And we're all getting ready to sit down and have a nice breakfast meal. And my aunt screams, passes out, and falls on the floor. She looked out the window, and we were like, I didn't know what happened to her. And then my uncle grabs what did he have, 303 British? Yeah, he grabbed a rifle, ran out the door. And I hear the rifle shots, and I hear a loud scream, and something runs up the side of the mountain, apparently. Then he comes running back in the house, shaking like a leaf. And I'll give you an idea. My uncles were basically giants, 6'9", 6'11".
Holy shit.
They're big boys. I mean, you work in those tunnel mines, you're going to be big anyways. And the other one was a lumberjack. And they were tipping the scales close to 7 feet. So they were big men. All right, huge. And when he came in shaking like a leaf, and he grew up all of his life in those mountains. And there was a big blood trail out there. And what it was that creature, after we got her revived, she said that the creature was looking in the window at us when we were trying to eat breakfast. And she seen it, and she screamed and passed out and fell on the floor. And my uncle must have caught a glimpse of it or something when she fell on the floor. When he went over to try to revive her, he seen it still looking in the window, and it took off. And he went out and he shot it. And I don't know where he hit it at, and it screamed at him. And then it ran up the side of the mountain there, and it left a big blood trail right through the ground. I mean, it was pouring. He hit it good. I don't know where he hit it, but that's a lot of blood. I thought he would have killed it, with that much blood that I seen. I mean, in picture a water hose that's dribbling. I mean, it was a lot.
Wow.
But yeah, that was all of us. All of us were there for that. Every single family member. Never forgot that, ever. And then now, forward a few more years.
Well, hold on a minute. Did anybody try to track that sucker down?
I think that, so my uncle, man, I almost said his name.
Doesn't sound like he was too enthusiastic.
There's no way he'd go by himself. Every time he went to check his plants, he's taking 5 armed guys with him. I mean, geez. And if he couldn't get enough armed guys, he wouldn't go. So I know that he knew exactly what was going on. Oh, yeah, that's right. He had this big white freezer chest out on his back porch, and he couldn't understand why. I asked him why he put log chains over it with a bunch of locks on it. And something had come in there and broke the log chains and ripped the lid off. Because he would fill the freezer full of deer meat every year, and we would keep that out there, right? And then we always butchered 2 hogs every year. So, we would put chickens and deer meat and he thought at first that was a human coming and taking all the, stealing it if he went to the store or something. But who the hell was coming in the middle of the mountains to steal all your meat like that, right? Well, when you put the log chains on there and you got the thing chained to a wooden floor, it just ripped the whole freaking chest and everything up and broke the chains and ripped the lid off. Well, that wasn't no human that did that. Because it took the meat.
Surprised there wasn't any payback for the gunshot.
Maybe. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to get. I'm really going fast. Sorry,
That's
apologize.
all right, man. We got all day. I'll sit here until tomorrow. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there were things that happened later on that somebody did get paid back. But it was after I'd went in the military that some of these things happened. So I think I was 19. I was 18 or 19 when I went through basic training, got to reconnaissance school, all that stuff. Let's see. That was before I think the ground war started in Iraq, right? Gosh dang, I'm trying to remember 23 years of duty stations, right? Anyways, I was in a area in Kentucky, right? Yeah, and that was in 90. Holy shit, what year was that I was there? 1990, I think. And maybe it was before the war started. It was around 1990. And this one, you're the only one that's heard this. But they're gonna stop their bullshit. They're lying to people. These things are killing people. That's all there is to it. They're not our friends. They can manipulate your emotions. They can make you feel euphoria. They can tell you they're an ancient one and they think you're your friend. They're not. If they're doing it, there's a reason behind it. Okay? But I hate to get off on all that because I know that people are good-meaning and good-hearted people. They're just trying to find answers. So was I. Right? So was I. Because when you go through this crap, you want answers. So we had soldiers coming up missing down there in Fort Knox, Kentucky. All right?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, this is I don't give a damn. They're going to think they were trying to blame it, saying it was a racist problem. Bullshit. Not when they're white soldiers. You see what I'm getting at?
This is in the late 90s?
And 90, right around 1990.
Okay.
And because I know I found one of them. And somebody else found the other body up in a tree.
No way.
So I'm out in a remote area. I'm doing some training, and that's why I said around 90. It could be a couple years past, a couple years before, because I'm trying not to give away,
Yeah.
you know.
Gotcha.
So when I'm down there, it's a very large post. There's some very remote areas. Goes along the Ohio River, a lot of it. I mean, it's a big place, a lot of remote areas. And like I said, I was in reconnaissance, Army recon stuff. And you have to go out and do night missions and all that stuff. And I'm out in the afternoon going towards evening. And I'm out with some other guys. We're doing some training now. This was training. This was not, just training. And I smell a really bad smell. I said, man, there's got to be a dead deer or something laying here. And I see a big down tree. I'm getting ready to step over the tree, and I step in something when I'm getting ready to step over the tree. And this is part of my court case that I was getting ready to, that I told you some about in an email. So I found one of the soldiers. I actually stepped in his chest cavity, and I didn't realize, I don't know how, maybe he'd been there maybe a month, I'm guessing. He was pretty badly decomposed. And that was not what I was expecting at all, obviously, in that remote of an area. Now, can I tell you that this creature killed him? No, I can't. Okay? I can't tell you that. But I can tell you there's a very large tree that was broke off, but it wasn't on top of him. It was laying next to him, right? And that he was on the ground, obviously dead. Okay? And the reason I'm mentioning that is because other people at that time, the rumors were going around that there was creatures out here that were taking people. All right? And
rumors around the military guys?
Yeah. Only certain ones of us, a small group of us that were into certain types of jobs were talking about it. They were like, watch your six when you're out there, man. There's stuff out there. And we were given a manual, and yeah, Steve, it exists. It was 87 or 89, the manual. Yeah, Army Corps of Engineers manual, but we also had a recon manual. And yes, the Sasquatch is listed as a native species. Yes, it has actions on contact when you run into it, how you're supposed to handle the situation, the whole deal. It was an actual published manual. It was declassified for the purpose of certain people in certain jobs to give them a heads up if you run into it, what to do. The manual does exist, and I have a copy of it, or I have one of them. Well, it's in the United States. I have one of the manuals. All right, I kept it on purpose because, it's a lie. The government freely admitted they existed, but only to certain people, right? And the SF guys all knew about it too. They'd had several run-ins with them as well, but Jesus.
Quick question. You mentioned the guy found up in the tree. How high up the tree was he, and what was his cause of death, and how fresh was it?
No, his body had also been there for probably, I'm guessing, 4 to 6 weeks, like the one I found. And they were trying to say that somebody had hung him up there. That's not true. That's not true. All right. They said he had a broken neck and he had been thrown up in the tree. That was what I was told. I'm not the one who found that body, but the guy that found it, he has my respect because I believe, he's not a storyteller.
Yeah. Well, now, were these people that are getting taken, the military guys, were they of like various race or anything? Like, was there any similarities there?
That I don't know. I mean, the guy I found was, I was told he was Caucasian. Honest to God, Steve, I didn't spend a whole lot of time staring at him.
Yeah, no doubt.
I couldn't tell whether he was white or black. To be honest, I couldn't tell.
Was he all in one piece?
Yeah. His body looked like it was all, as far as having 2 legs and 2 arms. But I stepped in his chest. I mean, there were broken bones. Okay?
Gotcha.
The skull was, it wasn't good. Either something hit him in the head, smashed his skull, or maybe something threw a tree on him. I don't know. That's why I said I can't lie to you. I got to be honest, and tell you. I found the body. There's a big tree laying next to it, but he wasn't on him or nothing like that, and there were broken bones and looked like the skull was smashed, right? But it didn't help with me stepping in it either, right?
Yeah.
You know,
So obviously you reported it.
Yes. And what happened after that? I don't know. I don't know what happened after that. You're going to see this is a history of this kind of thing, right? Probably called it a training accident and rolled it under the rug, because that was giving me some serious concerns when you start running into this. Because originally we really believed there for a while that, because the rumor was that there was some racist problems in the military going on and people were being hung and disappeared like that. But this wasn't the case. At least what I found and what the other guy found, that wasn't the case. So you got a story to cover up a story, right? It was one of those kind of things. But I'm a young guy at the time. I don't know nothing about nothing, too much on this stuff. And but I'm getting a hell of an education. And I knew I grew up with this type of thing, with these creatures and things going on. In 92 is when I really got my wake-up call. Was it 92? Yeah, 92. Because, I didn't spend all my time in the United States. I went all over the world. And you're right. On some of your emails, the guys in the UK got a problem. Guys over in Europe got a problem. Absolutely they do. So the killing, absolutely 100% eyewitness killing, was over in a place called Bavaria. It's a Black Forest. So you got the German-Czechoslovakian border. We were down there doing right reconnaissance. And we were in a training unit down there for that. And this is where you had a well-seasoned, these are well-seasoned guys going out to do a heart-shaped recon. So you go out 300, let's say you're 300 yards apart. Picture a football field square, right? One on one end, one on the other. You go out so far, then you come meet in the middle and work your way back through the center. You're making a heart shape coming back through the center, right? And where these guys were going to meet up at was in the middle, right? And then come back. That's where it happened. When they were out in this remote area, Black Forest, Bavaria, German-Czechoslovakian border, 92, I think it was somewhere around August. When they come to meet in the middle, the one guy seen something grab the other guy, picked him up by his legs, screamed at him when it did it, just grabbed this guy, picked him up, smashed his head against the side of a tree, busted it like an egg yolk. I'm just telling you what, I have no reason to doubt because of what happened afterward. And then it wasn't happy with that. It was screaming and it was ripping this guy's arms and stuff off, right? But the guy's already dead. And the guy that witnessed it, I heard he had 18 years in at the time. And everybody had a great respect for the guy that was in. During the time I was in, I still had Vietnam veterans. I had, a lot of that kind of thing going on at that time. So they shut everything down. They give us all trash bags, put us online. And anything that don't belong, they said, you pick it up, right? So we're out with damn flashlights. Everything is shut down. The whole damn unit is out there with trash bags, and you got to pick everything up. I mean, everything, Steve. I don't have to go into details, but everything.
Did you have guns?
Right? No, I was not armed. No, we didn't have guns. They had an armed, they had armed guys they called in. But we weren't armed. We're carrying damn trash bags. Ridiculous, right? But I did not know at the time the reason, right? This is after the fact. Because I didn't know what had happened, right? It was after we were out there with the damn trash bags and you got that shit running around, killing people. Well, I didn't know. I'm out there with a trash bag trying to do what they said, How old am I at the time? 21 or something? Young guy out there doing whatever orders they gave,
So how many men were out there doing this all together with the armed guys and you guys? How many?
Wow, probably 300 or 400.
Wow.
At least, yeah.
Holy shit.
Group. Yeah, it wasn't, that's the thing. How do you suppress that, right? And then they called, by the time we came back with our trash bags, they made us all get in a line. And they had a tent set up, and you had some people, had to be government officials in suits sitting out there, and you had to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they threatened you with everything under the sun, from going to prison to jail to losing retirement to you name it. To keep your mouth shut. This was a training accident, gentlemen, and that's what it is. You know, one of those kind of things. I'm like, oh, isn't this effing nice? And that was after that, because there were some really pissed off people. Those were friends, man. That was somebody's friend. That was somebody's son. You know, somebody's father, more than likely. You know what I mean? Somebody's brother, right? So that's what really got me really, really frustrated about it. Is because the guy that was the one that found him disappeared. And what I mean by that, they said he had mental issues. Sent him somewhere. Cover up, right? And I'm just telling you, that's what I was told. I was there. I did not witness the killing part, right? I did not witness that. Okay, and I just couldn't understand, why is it every gosh damn military installation we're going to, they got freaking problems of this? I mean, do they pick them on purpose? What is going on, right? Makes you wonder. And I got those answers, a lot of them after that. That's why I'm trying to hurry through this. I'm leaving a lot out.
I'm not kidding. I'll sit here for a month. I don't care. Go ahead.
So after we go through that process and everybody's being threatened, and which really pissed me off too, when I found out that this guy had been ripped apart by something that, yeah, we had manuals for it, but yet the other part of him, oh, this doesn't exist. Then I have my own run-in with 11 other guys. So I had to go do my own reconnaissance. I end up in a black forest. And, oh man, I'm telling you what, you just can't get any better. I'm Point Man. That's a hell of a thing. And, wow, yeah, I'm out with I think it was 11 of us total, including me.
Nighttime?
And, no, this was afternoon, and it was getting ready to, thunderstorm was getting ready to roll up. You know, when the weather's starting to change, the wind is starting to pick up. And we didn't have bullets, but we had our weapons. Empty magazines with no bullets. Training, right? 11 of us out there, and I'm going through a remote area of the Black Forest, and we're doing a training, and then we're going to get a report, you know, how did we mess up, you know, one of those kind of things, right? And I'm Point Man, so I'm leading the group. I'm going out through there, and this thing steps out from behind a tree in front of us, all 11 of us. And it doesn't scream, I didn't smell it, but the wind was blowing. I don't remember if it was blowing away from me or to the side. I did not smell anything, but it stepped out in front of me from how close? Maybe 12 feet, something like that, like across the room.
Shit.
And it was, and this thing, I don't know, it had to be 10, 11 feet, I don't know. It was absolutely huge, and it was pissed. I mean, it was very pissed off. And the thing that this one was doing that makes it a lot different than other experiences I heard people talk about, it had no fear at all of us. I don't know if it knew we didn't have bullets or what the problem is. There's 11 of us. We're carrying weapons, even though they're empty. It steps in front of us. It's pissed. It's not making any sound. It's flexing its chest muscles like a bodybuilder. Its arms, the biceps, and it's flexing it, and it's closing its fists, opening and closing clenching its fists, and it's staring dead at us, right? And
Jesus.
The thing is, I was, I don't know how to say, I couldn't move. I wasn't even scared. It was such a shock. All 11 of us were like frozen, and I remember, and it brought me back to when you're 5 years old and you see something that you're paralyzed. I'm like, I wasn't even afraid. It was like it was a shock to your nervous system where you're stuck like a statue and can't move. And this thing is looking dead in my eyes, dead at me. And then I seen it move its eyes up, and these were black eyes, by the way. These were not the brown ones like before. And this thing looked old. It had a lot of gray. It was black hair with some reddish colored hair, but it had a lot of streaks of gray. Like it must have been, you know, getting some age on it.
On its
And
head or its whole body?
No, whole body was like that, right?
The gray.
Yeah. And it looked like, you can't compare that to a body. There ain't a bodybuilder on a planet like that. Yeah, it looked like a humanoid type thing. I would call a caveman type. The heavy brow ridge, though, was one of the things. Didn't have a lot of hair on its face. Even the beard was sparse, like patches. It wasn't. And it,
Skin color?
The skin color, though, was like a leather color. I would call it a grayish color, right? Well weathered. Black Forest, yeah, exactly. Lines in it, yeah. But the gray, what kind of gray would you call that? Like a belt gray almost.
Battleship gray?
Closer to that, but a little bit darker. Yeah. And when it stood out in front of us, I don't know what it did to us, but that's why I said these are not our friends, but it's absolutely the effect that it had. I can't believe that 11 grown-ass men were frozen in place and can't move, can't respond, can't do anything. It did something to our minds. All right? Somehow it affected us, and it was like being back at 5 years old again, dealing with that. I can't move, but I'm not even afraid. I just can't move. And then, as it's flexing its muscles, it's gone. And what I mean by that is the next thought in our heads was as if we forgot that it was there.
What the
I don't
hell?
know what it did to it. We blanked out. Every one of us blanked out. But it didn't stay blanked out. It was less than 10 minutes that we were blanked out, right? And we're turning around, and then the guy's memory starts coming back to them. Right? They're starting to remember. Some of the guys had shit themselves, pissed themselves, and everything else, but they were stuck, paralyzed, right? Couldn't move. And then we got the big fight. We can't report this. They're going to think we're crazy. I'm not telling nobody. I didn't, everything from I didn't sign up for this, F this stuff, I'm getting out of here, all 11 of us. Because we were supposed to go out, do a certain mission, and come back in and report, right? And none of us reported it, including me. Because I couldn't get any back. I was like, if we all have the same damn story, we all seen the same damn thing, I'm like this. And they're like, dude, I'll bust your jaw. We ain't telling nobody about the. I mean, I'm serious. Some guys were so mad. And then the other ones were like, absolutely refused. Lockdown. I'm not talking about this. There is no way we're going to ever talk about this. It was kind of, I was like, gosh damn, the reactions of humans, man, is amazing, right?
Right.
I was willing to report it, but I knew that if we did, I did agree with them that we would have a big problem because of my previous experience that I had heard about when I never thought I was going to run into one like this myself, face to face.
And you'd be on a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. Vet in retirement, make you look crazy, all of that.
Yeah. So do you guys think that this thing disappeared while you blanked out, or do you think it absolutely just lost physical form?
No. I think that it somehow was able to manipulate our minds. I don't think it disappeared at all. I think that we were there. This is after many years of thinking about this, and because of the past other things I've had happen. I think it was able to do something with our minds to where we were blank. And I think it just went where it wanted to go. But I think it was a show of force showing us that we were nothing to it, that it can kill us anytime it wanted. And you're in my domain, you puny humans kind of thing. Oh, 11 of you? Oh, yeah. What do you think you're going to do kind of thing? I don't know if it knew we had bullets or not, because we didn't have any. And it stepped out as a big-time show of force, obviously. I mean, the next thing I thought, as I'm thinking we're paralyzed, is going to break a tree off and beat us to death with it or something. But, and here we got 11 guys, some of them got to go change clothes and everything else when we're getting back, and we're in a big fight, and they're going to try to say that we had bad food in a chow hall or something. You know what I mean? I mean, they're coming up with every excuse known to man. And it did something to our minds. because it was a good 10 minutes after that incident that it was like it just started, memories started coming back, right? But for me, I just remember what I told you. Some of the other guys said they think it walked off. That he was remembering that it turned and it walked off and it was showing its teeth at him and stuff like that. What I seen, it looked at me like it just wanted to rip me apart and kill me right there. Maybe it thought there's so many of us that was going to cause a big problem and there's going to be a team in there looking for it. Right? I don't know, you know. Mind speak? I didn't get any mind speak. I just got its intent. It was very clear. I want to kill all you, you know. That was the kind of speak that I got from it.
That's a pattern with those big muscular men. It's a pattern of looking at everybody and going, I could dummy you like nothing. It's a pattern being reported in.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's why I want to get to something that I know about that. That's why I'm building up.
Gotcha.
Leading through some of these things on purpose on some of this, because these are the early years. So after I'm going through all these damn experiences, when I come back to the United States, I want answers, Steve. You know, I was like you. I said, I'm good at my job. I can track anybody. I mean, I was pretty damn good. I could have a whole patrol go by me. I didn't even know could have took them all, you know. So I was good, you know, and I'm not bragging. I had to be good because I'm by myself sometimes to get dropped into remote areas, right? So, see, what was that? 95, I think, when I came back to the States. Yeah. In July of 95, I came back to the States. I'm really angry about these things that are happening. I'm tired of the cover-ups, all the rumors, the things that are going on. And I leave active duty at that time when I come back, right? I got tired of a lot of stuff, but I didn't leave the military. So I didn't want to go through that, Steve, and not get nothing out of it. You know, I wasn't going to go through having a heat stroke. I can tell you about NDEs, all of that. I wasn't going to go twice. I know what it's like to die twice. You know, I wasn't going to go through everything that I went through and not, you know. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go in the Army National Guard. Then I found out 60% of all your combat forces are Army National Guard. Hey, guess what? Yeah. Anyways. But that allowed me to work a civilian job and be in the military at the same time. And then other than going on my deployments and training with the Army National Guard and still going to active duty bases doing, you know, all my schools and training. All right. But I'm trying to get answers in the meantime when I come back. And that's where Matt Stupid Taker comes into place. He knows who I am. I'll guarantee you. And I'm a Christian. I'll say that now, but at that time, he'd better hope to God I don't ever meet up with him. So when I came back, I started doing investigations because of all the stuff that was going on, and I knew I could track people. Shit, I was good at it, you know. And from all the stuff that I had been told in the military, guys, I'm like, hey, man, I got this place. Okay. So I started going to their website, checking on reports. Because there was an incident not far from me where there was, and this is in, this was in the evening, 97 maybe this happened. Gosh, man, I'm sorry on my years.
That's all right.
So there was a factory, pork rind factory, and it's between Lima, what was that, Waynesfield, Ohio? Where's that at? The pork rind factory. The factory workers were out on a smoke break, still light out. Smell pork rinds real strong in the air, and I don't know how many people. It was about 11 people, I think, that was out there. They got a male and a female Bigfoot and one of the younger juveniles all standing there at the edge of the parking lot watching them take a smoke break. This is factory workers. They all seen it. A group of these things are standing there and they're smelling these pork rinds. They think that's what attracted them, right? So I'm checking these reports. Well, Moneymaker had this advertisement going on that they were looking for people that had had encounters and things like that. I'm like, oh, cool. That they needed people to do investigate these, and they would like to find somebody who had police or military experience, right? I'm like, well, shit, yeah, I can track people. you know, and I grew up in the mountains, you know. I'm like, yeah, no problem, right? And I'm want to get answers anyway, so I'm like, sure. And I hook up with one of their investigators, and I start getting addresses and names, you know, hey, can you go to this address? But I always kept their names anonymous. I always gave them the utmost respect, and I did these things. Well, when I started doing these investigations, remember, I'm still in the military and all this stuff. And that's when I really start picking up on the behavior of some of these things. I got to see cameras, meaning that people had their private security cameras at their houses. They were on film. These things weren't hiding. They were like, oh, I can't get them. Well, they had them right at the security. The other thing was I got the hair samples, my poop samples, tissue samples. Steve, way back in the 90s, I got it all. We were sending it to OSU lab is what they told me, right? I got all of it. Interviewed the witnesses, gave them great respect. Some of them are terrified. Some of them don't even, you know, never put a single one of them on camera. They're scared, right? Farmer out in his field. Hey, I got this thing coming up out of the ditch. Is there anything we can do about it? I'm like, oh, when did this happen? I go out, I look for the tracks. I'm telling you, Steve, we did it all. And then I start doing my night investigations. Started out doing the stupid stuff, beating on trees and doing stupid yelling. That's about as stupid as you get. Like I said, it's early on, right? I don't know how to do anything with this stuff. But that was that group, right? They like to take sticks out there and beat on a tree and doing the yelling. You ain't got to do none of that. None of that. Anyways, as I'm going through this report process and I want answers, there's a lot of people that's had encounters. And then I had 911 reports. There are 911 reports of people being attacked. These reports are being suppressed, houses being destroyed, boulders and trees being thrown on people's houses right there in Ohio. And there, even the police were told to shut up about it, okay? And yeah, I actually went out and got the evidence for this stuff. Guess who? Guess who was the one over this? Money taker, right? So I meet with this other investigator. I'm turning everything into him. Hey, I got this footage they gave me. Okay. I got this hair sample. I got this. I got that. And we go out and we do measurements. Yeah, this one here was almost 12 feet. Damn, that's a big one, right? These tracks are 14.5 inches. These over here are 17 inches. And I'm talking to everyday good people. Good people.
And you're thinking you're on the good guy team.
Yeah. And then eventually you're going to have your own encounters on top of what you've already had because you're out there doing all these night investigations just so you gave people a sense of security. Hey, would you come out? I got a private woods. There's something out there, right? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, so I go out there. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah. There's something out here. And it's not here to hold my hand. It's not here to make me feel good. You know, it's breaking trees. It's pissed off that I'm here and there's a family of them, right? Great. So that's when I recorded language. The Chamorro sounds like, some people compare it to a Japanese language. I don't know. It's some kind of language. They absolutely speak. They communicate. They have supernatural abilities. And so when I'm doing the process of this investigation, I ran to that on my own. And then I wanted to go to some of these other sites to investigate. Lots of tracks, lots of evidence, lots of eyewitnesses. There was no doubt whether they existed or not. I had my own encounters, right? And it got to the point as I'm going through this process that the government was showing up before I got there. I was being followed part of the time, and then they would show up. They're like, yeah, John, I want you to go out to this area. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. And I'm like, dude, that's government tags. That's U.S. government. I know exactly what that is, you know, because I have a vehicle with U.S. government tags, man. I'm using. What the hell is going on? Why are they following me, Steve? You know, this is
and
what I'm thinking.
And they're talking to you? They're all friendly?
Nope. Sit in the cars and just watch you. They didn't want to talk to me at all. And here I am working for the. Yeah, exactly. But the only person that knew about it was your money taker guy, right? I'm sorry, I'm angry. I'm still angry, Steve, about it. I am beyond angry.
You're doing better than I normally do.
Well, I wanted to whoop the shit out of him, be honest with you. You know, I'm gonna take one of them sticks and shove it up your ass that you want to run around and holler at trees, right?
Yeah.
You've known for years. He's known for years. These things are real. He's harassed the shit out of people on all this stuff, and I'm tired of his BS, man. He is a paid, make a story up kind of guy, right? But never get any results. I wanted to get results.
All of them.
I wanted answers. Yeah, exactly right. So I wanted to get answers and I wanted to get results, right? And that's why I got involved in it. And now I'm going to this site, and the only one that knew was him. And now I got the government showing up before I even get there, just sitting there waiting. But they wouldn't speak to me. They didn't do anything. Now I'm leaving this. I just left, right? I go to another area. They're following me. I'm like, what the hell? So I go to another area. They're sitting there. I'm like, and that's how you put everything together, right? I knew exactly what was up, right, with him. That's when I said, I want my evidence back. I want it all back. Because I kept asking for months, hey, what did the results come out of this hair sample? What did the results from the tissue? What were the, oh, they're still working on it. I said, dude, they've been working on it for 6 months. You know what I mean? And then when I run into this, it gave me all the answers I needed, right? They're following me. This guy's on the take. Bunch of BS. They used my skill set to get what they wanted.
Right.
Right? They took advantage of it, right? Just an honest guy that I wanted answers because I'd been tormented since I was a kid running into this stuff and wanted honest answers, and I was going to give the people that were asking me questions the honest answers.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, right?
Did those guys threaten you?
Who's that? The government? No.
The guys
they probably
following?
knew better. Oh, yeah, they were following me around.
But they didn't threaten
exactly.
you?
No. Never had a physical...
Just quick side note, I had another guy, cop, who's investigating, and he ran into the same guys, but they threatened him.
Well, Steve, I told you I went to work for that private government contractor. Well, they're owned by the U.S. government. That could very well have something to do with it because I probably wasn't the guy you would want to threaten at that time. Have a real nice team, so I think that they would have a real big problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's the only way I can say it. And I didn't realize it at the time, because I got a phone call later about that stuff. They're like, hey, I know what you're doing. I think you mean well. You need to knock it off. One of those kind of phone calls, and I was like, oh. And that was the other. 2 + 2 is 4, no matter how you do it, right? So that's when you tie it to these. You want to put the little entertainment TV show on there, beat trees and make stupid noises when the real guys are out. Yeah. So you can tie all this together, right?
Yeah.
And,
so we'll get you back to where we left off, where I interrupted you. You were saying how you're asking for your evidence back.
Yes. Yeah. And never got it. Never got it. And I'm still mad about it. And, that's when I heard about, later on, when you talked about Dr. Melba Ketchen. Love the lady. Absolutely have her back. I absolutely do. I understand the genetics she's talking about. I didn't tell you this part. I went to the biowarfare school where they were doing the genetics on different, ended up in a place I shouldn't be. Had to go to a top secret biowarfare class, and that's basically what they were doing, making viruses.
Did you run into Fossey?
No, this is way before him. No, this goes back. I hear guys saying you got to have a top secret. Dude, a top secret clearance is nothing. All right? That might get you through the front gate. All right? But that's not going to get you the places I went. All right? I had to be granted a temporary clearance. Top secret, that was nothing. Way above top secret. I had to get that designation. And it was only going to be temporary to go to a certain facility for a certain period of time. The whole deal, right? My problem was I went to the wrong damn place, right? I mean, it's that type of thing. Hey, this is the directions. This is the building. This is, where you're supposed to be. I'm like, shit, man, I ain't been here. And I'm looking for it, and I end up in an underground lab. Yeah, they exist. They're all over the place. Yeah, they do genetic experiments. I got held and arrested. Here I am, a military guy with top secret and above, supposed to be going to a biowarfare class, and I'm being arrested and held by the guys in the black uniforms. Yeah, they had no insignia other than a symbol on the side. I'm trying to remember what that was, a trident or something that they had on there. And they had to call the first commandant general. Was it the first commandant general or the first full bird colonel in my chain of command to get me released? And then, of course, I'm going to get chewed out and reprimanded, all the good stuff. I'm like, hey, I followed the directions because I never turned down a military school. And I always loved the new technology at that time they were coming out with. I'm like, whoa, wow, yeah, you want to go here? Yeah, sure. We're going to try out this new optics system. Okay, and that's how I knew about you when I was talking about people like, oh, they're invisible, you can't see them. It depends on what the spectrum is and the frequency that you're using. They got a lot of optics out there. They won't let us have them. They're considered, well, they were top secret, but maybe they got them down to classified level now. So there's no excuse not to find a lot of these missing people that I was telling you about earlier.
Right.
You can track them from 72 hours. They're goddamn footprints as far as that goes. I can literally follow you don't realize you're leaving a track when you don't think you are, right? And it doesn't matter what the temperature is. It doesn't matter about the rain. It doesn't matter, fog, snow. It doesn't matter. These things will track you. That's what I'm saying. So there's no excuse. If they get within 72 hours, they should find a lot of these people. But it's very convenient that they never do, right?
Right.
A lot of them. And the families never get the answers they're looking for. And now you see where I'm going, right? With some of this and why I'm so damn angry about it. And then you're told to, keep your mouth shut and stay quiet about this stuff, right? And during all this time, because I'm connected with a lot of different groups in the military, organizations, and working with different branches of military, and work with 12 or 13 different countries of military units. I don't want to go into name all of them. One of my guys was over there in Afghanistan, and he told me a story about this giant that had been killed over there, and I didn't believe him. I'm so angry. I'm upset at myself. I'm thinking, John, after the shit you've ran into and the stuff you've seen, and you didn't believe him when he were in Afghanistan. He talked about a whole platoon that had been completely killed. And they had to send in, but they didn't know that the unit had been wiped out. So they sent in a rescue unit to go in there and find what the hell happened to these guys. And they ran across this 15 foot creature. And red hair, 6 toes, double rows of teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes, all this stuff. And he's telling me this story, and I'm thinking, dude, maybe you need to, get some help or something. Stupid, man, for me to say that. I regretted that ever since, because he had left the military. I mean, as soon as his time, he was getting out. He was finished.
He was there? He saw this thing?
Yeah, he was there. And then I ended up running into a pilot, heard his story, that flew it out. I was like, man, John, what is the deal? And then I had 2 other guys, they said, yeah, man, I was there. I was like, are you kidding me? And I regretted it. Because some of the guys, man, they end up committing suicide over this stuff, right? Because the PTSD, I mean, you think that you're told all your life, you're taught something, and then you run into something that you can't deal with, and it doesn't exist, and then your friends are being buried for stupid reasons, right? And people disappear, and then you're like, gosh, damn. Because that ended up happening to me when I got sent into remote areas and dropped by myself. And we went into an area, and this is in North America. Gosh, man, I gotta watch. Dropped into an area not too far from you, but United States. And I was supposed to set up take care of some explosives and stuff like that. I did unexploded ordnance, but I also did regular, explosives and things like that. And I had to go into a remote area. I had to set up my own point, and I was supposed to have a group of guys with me. And when we pulled into this area, they seen the creature out there, and not a damn one of them would get off the truck when they seen it. And I'm told, hey, this is where you're going to be sitting. I said, are you kidding me? Did you just see that? I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to set up an area there, right? And those guys there said, I don't care. You can court-martial me. You can throw me in jail. I am not going. But I was the highest ranking. And I got a guy way above me that said, yeah, you are. And it was one of those kind of things. Threatening. I said to me, I can't throw all these years away.
What did you see? What time of day was it?
It was about 10 p.m. I'm guessing that we pulled in there. And we're talking in a wilderness area, remote, south of you, in the United States. And when we pulled into that area, we must have caught it with the headlights. Now we're driving, 8x8, 6x6s trucks, and we're hauling a lot of explosives and stuff. And we caught it walking in the woods. I mean, it was on the edge of a tree line, but it went from the edge of the tree line to go into the woods, and I just caught a glimpse of the back of it walking into the tree line, but the other guys all got a good view of it, including the driver. And but the problem is I didn't have the power or authority. I couldn't force those guys to stay out there, and I was the one in charge of all that crap. So I'm stuck there. 17 days, matter of fact, I was out there.
Yes.
And I thought I didn't know if I was gonna lose my mind or what, because every damn night I had to deal with that. You hear them every night.
What were they
running
doing?
around there, breaking trees, making all. They didn't like it that I was there. They were pissed at me. I thought every night this was gonna be my last night. So what did I do? I prayed. I did a lot of damn praying. I'll tell you that. And I was tempted because we had C4 out there. I'm like, if them bastards come around, I'm going to blow all of us up,
Right.
Really thought about it. I mean, I had everything I needed. But I honestly had to learn to have faith, And I did pray every damn night on that. And I was, somehow I survived that. I knew they were right there. They knew exactly. I mean, I wasn't hiding nothing. They knew exactly where we were and who I was. I mean, the whole deal, right? And I'm still so angry at those guys, and sometimes. But how can I blame them? How can I blame them?
Yeah.
I'm really angry at the commander that was over me. Why didn't he? Anyways, yeah. Then you wonder why the hell people got PTSD, right? Funny thing is, I didn't really care about people putting a gun in my face or threatening me with knives. That wasn't what I was really worried about. It was this crap here you run into. Dealing with another human being is completely different than dealing with this stuff, right? And I'm the country I'm living in now. I got 2 guys from my unit are here.
Cool.
In different parts, and they both know exactly what I'm talking about. One got blown up by an IED, and he put his arm back together, and the other one actually retired and is still on one piece, and both of them were in a lot of the same places that I'm talking about now.
They've had experiences with these people?
Yeah, but they don't want to talk about it. They won't speak about it.
Yeah.
They'll talk to me. They'll talk to me about it. Even at some of the same places we were at. They refused because they're so afraid of the ridicule. And I'm past. Myself, I don't care about the ridicule. I just don't want my family being drug into it, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me. And I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the people thinking that they're your friends. After all these years and all the time and research that I put into this, and it completely stopped when I got my answers. I know exactly pretty much what they are, but it took a long time. A lot of soul searching and a lot of things to find this. As far as the mind speak thing goes, I haven't really had mind speak other than an intent from them, right? An intent, meaning they manipulate your emotions. Either my intent is I'm going to straight up kill you, leave, get out of here, or I'm going to make you feel like I'm your best buddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why I feel so sad for some of the people, because there was a group that, I don't want to name them, they thought, these are my friends. These are such good friends, and now they're not here with us anymore. Really? Good friends, huh?
Yeah.
There's an intent behind this, right? And use somebody to get what you want, lure somebody out there, and now they can speak. they could mimic real good as far as our names go. If one of your fellow soldiers calls you by a name, let's say your name is Steve, and then you're out in the woods in a remote area, and there's nobody out there. You're miles from, they'd fly me out in a helicopter and drop me, all right? There ain't nobody out there, right? And then somebody's calling me by name, yeah, something's up, right?
Out of the forest.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it's not your buddy, right? And that kind of thing that I had to deal with a few times like that. And, gee whiz.
Quick question: Are you still in contact with any of those guys that firsthand witnessed the Kandahar giant? Because I've spoken to probably 3 or 4 people who I trust, and they claim to know one of the people that were there, but I've never talked to one yet.
If he's still living, one of them, yeah, maybe. That sucks to do that. I'll have to talk to my other 2 buddies that are over here and see if I can get a hold of this guy. Out of my platoon, I'm the only one living. It's a sad thing to say.
Yeah.
Either they got sick and died, or they committed suicide, or they were killed. It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, at least there was one other guy that was still living. I forgot about him. He was still alive, and that was a couple years ago. Last time I talked to him, but everybody else, and he was the one that told. He says, "Man, John, everybody's gone." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "No." So it was, it messes you up, right? You can't talk to nobody. You got to keep everything quiet, and it eats you up alive. And then you see what's going on, and then it's bad enough we're burying a bunch of soldiers for stupid reasons, being sent places we shouldn't be sent as it is, right? Because we want to get politically messed up in somebody else's agenda. How about let's have an agenda for the people? Let's be accountable to the people, right? And I don't mean to get off. I know I got to stop because I'll get on the roll on this kind of thing. And as far as me and my experiences go, yes, my wife behind me, my son, I never hid nothing from them. And they had an experience. All of us had it together. So as I'm going through all these processes over the years, sometimes you, like you said, you don't like ridicule, right? And maybe you have a buddy, that's, the manly man. I've done, like, okay, I got a place, I'll take you. And I took him down there to the farm. We went camping. He won a lottery ticket or one of them scratch-offs, $500. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Let's camp on the edge of the property there. So we went and set up some tents because I had never been hurt by those creatures down there. Right, in that area. I grew up with them, Steve, as a kid. If they had wanted to hurt me, they could have hurt me anytime they wanted. All the way from a little kid all the way through all my adult years. I knew they were there, never was hurt, right? But sometimes people run at the mouth, and I call them out on it. And they like to, and I don't get me, I don't have animosity towards the guy. I actually feel sorry for him now because he really can't. When they run into these things, oh, I want to see this, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, right? But then it's a completely different story when they run into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down there, we're cooking on the edge of the land. I know exactly where these things' habitat is pretty much. They have borders. These things, they like to set up borders into their territory. So we have a river. If you cross the river, they're going to get pissed that you're in their territory. But on our side of the river, it was fine. We're down there cooking steaks and all this, I know they smell all that food because, And I didn't tell my friend. My wife knew. She said they're here. I said, I know. And my wife's married to a little Filipino lady. And she's the same as me. She's seen they're people. I said, yeah, they're people. But they're not human people. And we both agree to that. But anyways, we make the steaks. We're down there having a nice... We're going to cook out there for 3 or 4 days was the plan. And I have my son down there. And I told my wife and son, you guys will be fine. You're safe. But I said, this other guy that's with us here, he's not going to be hurt. But he's going to be in for a reality check. All right? And I had my... I always go armed, Steve. All right? Not just for... Okay. That's one thing I was hoping. But I had armor-piercing rounds in my handgun, and there's a certain aftermarket handgun you can get. You can get standard. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, that'll stop a lot of problems right there, because some of these creatures, I've heard about people that lit them up and they said it just kept coming and this and that. I haven't even got into that stuff yet. And I said, well, I got armor piercing rounds, so if it did come down to that, I'm really not worried about it though. And then my friend, I said, well, we do have bears, and it is true, we do have bears, and yes, we do have mountain lions and stuff like that. So I gave him my 308 rifle, and so he had it. Gee whiz. But big man that he is, I said, okay, set up your tent. I said, oh my God. I'm laughing because I could tell that he has no experience really in the wilderness or camping or any of that. Absolute worst place to set up the tent, the worst place. I mean, when it rains, it's just pouring through his tent. He's all soaking wet. I mean, you know what I mean. You kind of get it, not a clue, right?
So what? So he's challenging you on the fact of whether or not these people are real or something?
Yeah, basically. And he found out in a big way, because after we'd been cooking out, I knew it was going to attract him, because it always does. When we're cooking a hog or anything like that, they smell it, and you could hear the trees start breaking trees, and he's
you
like,
figure it's food actually attracts him, you think?
Yeah, because my grandfather and some of my in-laws used to take it down there to the creek, and they would dump it over the bank when they had entrails and stuff like that from slaughtered animals or leftovers like that. They weren't purposely feeding in, they were like just going to let the wild animals have it. But then they got seen that these creatures were going down there picking up those entrails and stuff. So I was like, oh, well, shit, if I'm cooking steaks...
That's confusing for me, because I found that out for myself firsthand, that they will eat frickin' anything, which is like a bear, but meanwhile, they're a people. It's so weird, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't even got into that. Well, it came around us because of the food, and I knew it was probably going to attract them, but I left that outside on purpose. I wasn't trying to attract bears, but the residue from the grill, I knew they were going to smell that. We knew they were there before he did, right? He was like, what's that? No, I said, that's just deer, man. They're coming in, When shit's, yeah, that's what I told him. Hey, you're supposed to be the expert deer hunter and all this. Hey, I was like, well, don't you know, man, that's a deer. What's that? No, it's a deer. Don't worry about it. You want a beer? Anyways, we go. It gets dark early down there. I mean, it's 7 p.m. It's already getting dark, but we all go in. We're going to go to sleep. Me and my wife are in there with our son. We're sleeping in the tent, and all of a sudden, he comes crashing through our tent. All 416 pounds of him. He's a big boy. Yeah, big boy. I wasn't kidding. 6'5", 415, something. I mean, he's... Yeah, and I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. He is a friend, but I just didn't want this. Don't accuse me of something, man. I'm not BSing you. And he comes crashing in on top of us with the damn wet rifle. He's all soaking wet. He says, "They're out there. They're out there. I think it tried to grab me. It was grabbing my tent. And I said, it'll be okay, man. Go back to bed." And I know it's terrible, Steve, to say that, because he wanted to leave and go home. I gave him my truck keys, and he went and slept inside my truck all night. And then the next morning, I said, man, it's 2:30 or whatever in the morning. I am not. We're so far away from anything. There's no place for us to go. I am not going to drive at 2:30 a.m. all through these mountains to try. No. That's a good 5.5, 6 hour drive down there. I said, there's no way that I'm. Anyways, he went and slept in our truck all night. He locked the damn doors, had us locked out. I'm like, gee whiz. I said, Chuck, I'm out here. I've got handguns. I've got armor piercing rounds in one of them. I said, come on, man. It'll be okay. Just relax. Tell them to go away and leave you alone. You want to... Oh, no. Dude. Now you get where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
Because people, they were laughing. They want to make a story, right? See, they got the, what do you call that? The armchair quarterback. So, yeah, they can make a story. But then you call them out, all right, I'll take you there. Why, you don't want to go there? Hey, I'll take you. So then my brother, I didn't know this, my second, he was my youngest brother. Shit, he had been taking people down there. Same damn reason. It was like, but they never made it through the night though. They all ran away and left, right?
So your wife and son, your present wife and son, has seen them too?
Yeah. Yeah, and this was partly my fault. And when I told you I blame myself for some things are foolish. It wasn't foolish that we were camping down there. I wasn't worried about getting injured. I just wasn't, because I had been there all my life. There was a family of them. I knew there was a group, a family of them. All of my family, they know, right? The problem is if you start shooting around them, they know exactly what a gun is. You don't ever threaten them. Then you got a big problem. Then you created a big problem. And I didn't know my father had been having problems with him. Remember, he was the one that didn't believe me when I was a little kid. All these things are happening, or through the years. We tried to tell him. And he's out there. This is a remote area, but it's a farm. It's 111 acres. He's trying to cut the hay and everything else down there. And we have livestock, you know. And apparently he's seen it. Things following them around. I think they got juveniles, and I think they like to climb trees and get into everything, right? And apparently he was being followed around when he was on a tractor, and he was trying to cut hay and stuff, and he's seen him, and I guess it really got to him, you know, put the fear of God in him, apparently. And so he got in the habit, because he also did advanced life-saving, right? Advanced life support. And they would get up at 4:30 in the morning or so, and when I would go down there and see them, you know, because I went down there as a teenager to work for, I did all my life. I went back and forth down there to try to help out. He would get up with a rifle. I'm still sleeping at the time. That was like our vacation time. During the day, I'll get up and just go around and help whatever I need to do on the farm. So me and my wife and son were down there trying to sleep, and I'm hearing high-powered rifle shots going off, and I'm thinking, what in the hell is that? And then I hear the truck starts up, tires spinning, and he's taking off, and then my mother says, oh, it's okay, he does that every morning. What? What do you mean he does that every morning? He said, oh, it's those creatures out there. He's worried he's trying to tell them to leave him alone. I said, that's the worst damn thing you can do. Now it's a challenge. They probably, because it's a family of them. If he one of those bullets hits one of their young, we're in for it. I said, I don't think we got enough firepower to stop a group of those. Gee whiz, man! I was like, what in the heck is he doing? And then
I wonder why they left him alone when your uncle shot that one.
Well, that was up at the top of the hill, or top of the mountain there. That one there, that he shot years and years ago. That one there. I got to remember what happened on that. I don't know exactly what happened on that. I know he shot it. I know there was a big blood trail. I know it screamed at him, went up the side of the mountain there. But there was several years that I wasn't there. I was deployed out overseas in other countries. I don't know.
But nobody got killed? Or?
I don't know. Because there is a situation I haven't told you about yet. And I know that you know about these other creatures. And that was the thing I never added into this the whole time. I've been strictly telling you about the Sasquatch stuff when I was out doing all these investigations and stuff and trying to get answers. The point was, I'll finish with what I was telling you about. Yeah, I didn't know I had a younger brother that was taking some of these so-called professional hunters down there, and they were making fun of them, and they didn't even make it through the night, right? And everybody's leaving. And then my mother calls me on the phone, because they lived down there, right? Or at that time, they were living down there. They would live down there so many weeks, then they're living in Ohio so many weeks, and then they're living there, it was like that because of his work. She called me on the phone. Even my cousin got involved from up the top of the mountain there, and he said there was government people down there, and they told my mother that you sold us this land. They showed up. And I said, what do you mean? Did you really sell them? No, John, I didn't sell them the land. They come down and told us we had sold it. I said, you better get the hell out of here. We didn't sell you this land. Right? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They're trying to force you out of this lane. Yeah, exactly. Don't know why, Steve, but that happened. Then a truck with a radar dish, they were telling me about it because I didn't see it, with a bunch of guys was doing investigations around there. Yeah, exactly. Now you see where this is going, right? So a truck shows up. It's got all kinds of equipment, night vision devices, all this stuff. That's what they're telling me. I wasn't an eyewitness, but my parents were. They were there. My cousin, he was there. Some of my brothers, they were there. And they're telling me these are government guys running around, and I don't know what the heck they're doing. And they're on our property illegally. We threatened them, and finally they left because my cousin came down, and when some others got involved. You know what? It's not a smart idea to go down there in the Appalachian Mountains on somebody else's property anyways. You get yourself killed real quick, you know? So when you got a group of guys that said, that's it, I'm done, and they armed themselves up and they're going down here, yeah, they left pretty quick. And then trying to tell my parents that they had sold the land to them when there was no such agreement, that's kind of weird too, right?
Red flag.
And then but everybody around that mountain knows that now. Because we're so far apart, the only way you're going to get help is either from one of your distant neighbors, or, you kind of look out for each other. It was kind of like that. It's like a small community. And that's what was going on. And so everybody knew it. They all said it was government. And so I thought that was kind of odd that happened, right? And yeah, I do have something here on a cell phone I forgot about. So when all that stuff is going on, I have a cousin that was a sheriff of a county down there. And I don't want to say which county. Sheriff of a county. And it wasn't that far from our farm, I'll put it that way, that we used to have. The one that all this stuff was happening on. And when my cousin, there was another military veteran that was living alone in a cabin in another area of the county, in a remote area. And he ended up dead. And when they tried to find him, and his cabin, not only was the front doors ripped off, and even a part of the frame was gone on it. His cabin was completely destroyed. It looked like there was, they said there was ammunition casings all over that house. Furniture was broken, couches broken, everything is tore apart, right? Blood all over the place. And they found one of his legs still inside the boot, but they didn't find him. Meaning from the shin down was inside, the boot.
Damn.
And then they ended up finding him, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 days later, up in a tree. And he was a good 15 to 20 feet up in that tree. And he was not touched. He wasn't eaten, none of that. And there were big tracks out in front of the place, right? Well, while this was going on, this particular cousin, now remember the sheriff has a lot of power, right? I mean, that's his county. He did not even get a chance to pick up the phone to call the FBI. They called him, and they showed up down there. All right, this is why I mention it, because there was one channel, and I don't know how they found out about this. I don't know if they were trying to go through old police reports or what they did. Because nobody outside the family was supposed to hear this. But since they said something about it, that's why I'm setting the record straight on some of this, right? Because that man had 2 daughters, He had children, so I didn't like somebody putting that damn story out. They need to clear some things with the family before they just go telling stories, right? Fact of the matter is, something killed their father. And, yeah, it was bad. And he had security footage of his own killing, basically. And yes, the FBI apparently did go down there. And instead of them supposed to be investigating to find his body, apparently they were going through the house as well. Because they knew he had security footage. And yes, he was a retired military guy also, or had at least done so many years of active duty. I don't know if he actually retired. And he lived peacefully by himself in a cabin there. And the two daughters, when they went down there, they found at least 10 years worth of SD cards with footage. Yeah, exactly. Of what was around his property. And I'm going to tell you this for a fact. He had called my cousin the night, I don't remember if it was that morning or the night before, that he said he made a fuck up. And he was scared for his life. He says, I think I fucked up and now it's going to come back with its buddies.
What? Shit.
Right? And apparently he had shot this thing in the chest with a rifle, and I don't know what caliber, and he pissed it off, and obviously it came back, right? How many? I don't know. All I know is that what he killed wasn't a Sasquatch. And what was on 10 years plus of video footage that his daughters still have, apparently, unless after it was put out, because somebody had said that was put out, maybe they went and shut the daughters up and tried to take the footage. Wouldn't surprise me. That's why I didn't want to disclose a lot of this. But somebody on there, let's make a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of respect that should go to the family. But anyways, because we know the people, and I that's what aggravates me. But anyways, they got the film footage, and they did want to get it. They were at first adamant that they were going to release it to the public, and I don't know what happened to it. And I know that my cousin was threatened, and he's no longer. He retired. He's done. He's finished. He don't want to talk about it. He's done. Right? So I don't know what they threatened him with, what they told him, what agency exactly. All I know is that is the story.
So they figured this veteran killed one?
I don't think he killed it. I think he pissed it off, and it came back with a group of dogmen.
Shit.
Because it wasn't a Sasquatch, it was a dogman, right?
Right.
And that's what I found out the hard way. That's what I was leading into. Sasquatch are one type of creature that are like partially human, partially something else, right? They're a mix. They're a hybrid type creature. The U.S. government, you know what the U.S. government classified documents calls it? They call it a Nephilim. That's the name. They just spell it right out. They just spell it right out, Steve. This is why I'm tired of people, you don't know what it is. Yeah, a Nephilim. If it is, that's what they're calling it. That's what it was classified. First it was top secret, now it's classified, right? I've seen the documents, Steve. They know exactly what it is. Been around a long time. Right? Been around a long time, these things. The problem is, not a problem, but they got different types of abilities. Of course they're going to be different because you have different types of abilities with these creatures. Some of them, depends on what bloodline they're from, what their abilities are. Yeah, they can do supernatural things. They can mess with your mind. Some of them can cloak themselves. Now, the ones I've dealt with, I haven't even got to the ones that can turn themselves where you see through them, right? But you see look like a mirage. Looks like a heat or something coming off the road, like in a desert. Yeah, even my own son pointed one out to me. I was amazed that he actually picked up on it, right? So 3 times I've had encounters with those when I was out trying to do investigations in these areas. And that's when you talking about your sixth sense. After you've been doing this for a while, like I said, I've been out of this for a while. I'm here, right? But, yeah, you feel it when they're around. You absolutely know it. I can't explain it. I don't know how that I know. I just know.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a pretty good idea just about where they are as well, right? And I cannot explain it. That's why I said maybe something happened when I was a kid. Maybe you get tagged some way, as they call it. Or it opens an ability in us that I believe every one of us has, right?
Same. Yeah.
But it's being suppressed, and the government has their own documents on this as well. They damn well know about it as well, that we have these abilities, and they want to keep that suppressed, right?
Absolutely.
And hard to control a group of people that are wide awake, Right?
Holy shit. Yeah.
And that's what got me on this. And now I actually have my own my own pictures of the dog-like creature. But
you got pictures of it?
Yeah.
No shit. How'd you get those?
Yeah. Huh. You'll love this one. Remember I told you that I could feel them, right? That I just know they're there. I don't know how to explain it, right? And what I did was me and my son went for a walk in front of a different place in Ohio, and I told my son something's not right. And I just flipped the camera over there on a cell, and I took a picture. I'm going to open this, and I'll show you.
Well, your screen's blanked out.
Yeah, I'm going to unblank it. Where the hell's it at? I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that?
Drop it down a little bit.
I can make it bigger as well.
Some kind of weird, foggy-looking apparition from here.
All right, let me see if I can make this bigger. Let's see if this helps. Which way do I need to go here?
Yeah, it's tough. You might want to just send it to me. Email it.
All right, I can do that.
Yeah, email it.
All right, I'll do that.
What do you think those dogmen things are? How do they fit in?
Well, they're the same damn thing. They're Nephilim. But I didn't know that. It took a long time before I learned about some of this stuff. And, come on, I'll close that up. Yeah, I got the video of that. Not video. I got pictures of it. I also got the tracks. But, like, the accusation is that you always hear, well, anybody can make up the picture. Okay, well, I don't care. They don't got to believe it.
Yeah.
Don't care. Lots of videos. I got a 15-minute video my mother has on security footage when she called me on the phone and said, John, what do I do? It's out here getting in the back of your father's truck. I said, it probably smells food out there, the farm in Kentucky. I said, well, don't go out and cause it any problems. Just stay in the house, and it'll leave you alone.
She's got video of it?
Well, they had about 15 minutes worth of video footage of one of them. It's putting its hands in. It's going through I think my father, he always put the trash in the back of his truck and would take it down. There was a trash collection point. Probably smelled the trash. And I think that's what it was.
Still got the video?
I don't know. I have to ask her if she's got it. But yeah, it was good. How many times? More than a dozen times, probably. So
send us that video.
And that's the thing. It's not like there isn't evidence of this stuff, right? And like you said, well, you got a picture, but what does it mean? Oh, you got a video, maybe it's made up,
Sure. But that particular video, would she send you that and share it?
I'll ask her about it if she's got that over there. Now, they got rid of this place. They sold it. And because my father couldn't deal anymore with these things. And he didn't want to live like that. And I told him, because I told him. I said, because you shot. Because of the fact that you shot over there, they know what a rifle is. We have a problem. And because that's what killed the other guy, right? I'm talking about the one where my cousin was the sheriff of the county. The dude, he shot, but he actually hit one, right? But it was the dogman type creature. Now, I've never, they all know what the gun is, very obviously, right? But even, I'm the only one that really never had an issue with them. And, but I grew up there as a child. I was the one as a child, though, growing up down there, right? The other brothers weren't. I was the one working on that farm as a child, ran her all over those woods. They got ran out. My second youngest, the one close to my age, he went down there. Well, he also went across the river, too. So that's probably part of the problem. And him and his wife and child, I think he had 2 kids at the time. And, yeah, because my youngest brother was watching them run out of the woods across the river, and my brother was really getting it. And then he watched the creature come out after them. He watched the whole thing, and he was there laughing about it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. And they don't want to talk about it. And so, yeah, the whole family knows about him. And I said, you probably crossed into their territory and you pissed them off. It was probably a big male that came out there. Because they said as soon as he got on the property, he didn't chase him any further. But he stood there glaring at my brother, I guess, the one that went across the bridge. So that's part of the reason, obviously my father knew about that. And that's why I think that he definitely just couldn't deal with it anymore, and he's getting up in years. And I told you, he has the Agent Orange and the cancer, and he's fighting a lot of health problems. And he was hoping to have a peaceful place. But once you take a rifle and you shoot at one, you got a choice. Either kill it or you're done, man. I mean, you started a war with these things. Problem is, there's a whole family. Oh, I never told you about that experience. See, I'm left a lot out on purpose.
Do you think your cousin's watching the channel? The sheriff? Ex-sheriff?
He might. He might be. He might be. Will he talk about it? I don't know. See, the thing is, I just don't want the family hurt. I don't give a damn what they do to me. They can threaten me all day. I don't care. I just don't want and that was the whole reason I was coming out about it. And I'm tired of the misinformation coming out, because I know the ability these creatures have. Like I said, I went to work for that government agency, and we discussed some of these things.
What'd they say?
We're talking about how they manipulate emotions, right?
Right.
Very specifically, they make you think that you're special. They make you think that you feel so good, they're your best buddy. And there is an agenda that they have behind it, right? And so, because I was digging for answers, Steve, I want to know, what is the deal, right? And some of them, yes, they're doing genetic modifications on some of them, because, the government, let's find a way to weaponize it, right? And they're demonic, period. It's a demonic entity, and they just called it a Nephilim. And then I started getting into my near-death experience that I had. I got deep into the scriptures and started looking into this, and I'm like, wow, all the stuff government's saying fits right in the scriptures. Wow, that blew me away. It lines right up with the Bible. Boy, they don't teach that in a church, do they? They say it's a fairy tale.
How do you think the government's getting a hold of these beings?
Technology. They're using a type of technology to get them. They're using another genetically modified creature to go after it. Yeah, they had a nickname. They called it the Big Three.
Really?
Yeah. I know it sounds crazy. I've only seen two of the three. The two that I've seen is the Dogman and the Sasquatch, right? But this other one is some type of werewolf type creature that's bigger. It's somewhere in between the Sasquatch creature and the Dogman.
So what did you learn directly? What did you learn directly from the government? Like, what they intentionally taught you or shared with you?
Well, intentionally sharing it and then having someone that you spoke to privately, it's two different things, right? Among friends, some of us, you have that brotherly trust. That's why I'll never disclose their names, because I feel like I'm breaking trust in a way. But most of them are passed away now. So that's the reason that I'm... There's
the government Sorry.
They want to genetically modify these things to push an agenda, right? That's what the purpose is. They want to control them. Oh, you're not going to believe it. I hate to say it, it sounds crazy. They got a satanic type. It's a Luciferian, satanic, one world agenda, period. And we're not part of the plan. And so they got to get us down in our numbers so they can control us and dumb us down, the whole deal. And to lower the population by all means possible, through the water, through the food, through technology, through frequency, through mind control, you name it, psychological operations on a daily basis. Every time you open a damn TV or YouTube, it's on running in play, right?
They're doing a great job.
Yes, they are. And have I dealt with some of those weapons? Yes. right? I know about this is the crazy thing. I dealt with some of those weapons 25 years ago, and people are just now talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking, dude, I could make you hear voices, piss yourself. You got this irrational fear. You can't explain it, right? A lot of people, and I noticed that too with these creatures. I was like, man, there's an irrational, completely paralyzing fear, but we have technology to do the same damn thing. And I've actually been involved with training on how to use that, right? Be a hell of a thing for crowd control, but they don't have to have it directly. You can do it off satellite, right? You know, make you have strange dreams because they know the frequency and the way the brain operates. I mean, it's crazy stuff, Steve. They got the technology to do it. I just wanted to know, where did they get the technology and who did they get the technology from? And what my answer was is that it was demonic technology. Some people use the word alien, some people call them extraterrestrials. But the Christian side of the guys that are in there, they're saying it's all demonic. I agree with them because of my own experiences that I had with it. And it lines up with the scripture. And funny thing is, I wasn't this way. I became this way on the scripture. Based on all the things that I experienced and saw brought me to the scripture. I wasn't looking for my own personal, I just want the facts. I want to know what the truth is. And I want to know how we defend ourselves. Right?
Yeah,
that's a big deal. And when I was stuck in...
Do you think there's a certain time period when this absolute war on humanity began, which is so obvious, it's in our faces? If anybody can't see that yet, you're gone. You're useless. You know what I mean? Like, but when do you think there's a certain time period when it started to swing against us?
It started really swinging against us from the beginning in Genesis, to be honest with you, for what it says, right? But at the present time, when the governments were so deeply involved in swinging it against us, right? I'm going to go back late 40s to late 1940s, I believe.
Because it really started amping up after they dusted Kennedy.
Yeah, because he wanted to actually have our own monetary system, right? Take back control of it and all those stuff, right? Kennedy, I think he knew too much. That's why they wanted to get rid of him, and he was willing to take a stand. He wasn't a puppet. He was hard to manipulate, right? Yeah. And when you're hard to manipulate and you take a stand, you become one of their enemies, like me.
Where do you think where do you think ground zero is for these dark pricks?
You mean the leaders or the creatures?
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, so everybody's answering to somebody right now. Where do you think that is?
Wow. The leadership at the top. All right, I want to give you an example of something. Let's say you got China, Russia, United States,
Britain.
These large countries, right? Exactly, Israel, Britain. The people at the very, very top are manipulating all of us. They have their own personal agreements with each other. Now, can I bring you actual documentation and proof of some of this? No. Have I heard about it? Yes. Were I involved with people that laid out a 30-year plan and I thought the guy was crazy? It's going exactly as he said it was going to go. I never knew we were going to have a black president. He said, you're going to have the first black president. You're going to have your first, well, I hate to say this, married to a transgender. Claims to be a woman, but it's really a guy, one of those kind of things. He laid out the plan. The virus is coming. The whole deal. And I thought the guy was crazy. I'm like 22 or 23 years old when I learned this stuff. And I just never talked about it. Who would believe that? I thought the guy was crazy myself, right? Never knew his name. He had a nickname. Everybody just called him the Colonel. Black Ops, CIA, NSA type. But we gained his respect because of what we endured and went through. And
so what was the end result in the 30th year?
2030 is the agenda they keep trying to push, right? And I think it's the one world government, one world religion, all of that. The majority of the leadership are either they're in on it. That's what I was getting at. Unfortunately, you have two parties and they're both working towards the same goal, like good cop, bad cop. Well, I don't like this party, so I'm going to go with this one. But they both have the same agenda, two different ways to go about it. It's perfect psychological operations. But we got to get the people divided. You got to, Asian, black, white, orange, yellow, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to create racism in the public. We need to take down, yeah, exactly. Let's get them all infighting with each other. Now let's break up the foundation of the family. Let's increase the immorality, sex, rape, murder all over the place. And then let's feed them Hollywood movies showing them, yeah. See?
Where's the kids going?
Slavery, control, mind controlled. I mean, look at the IQ now, and it makes me sad. I got children, I teach them myself, a lot of them. That's why I have some here. They can't think for themselves. And I'm not blaming the kids, Steve. I'm not blaming them at all.
Well, they say, what's the latest number? Is 61% of the United States population has a literacy of a grade somebody in grade 6 or something?
Well, as long as you breathe air, you pass, right? Seems to be the goal. And look, why are we accepting all of this assault out in the publics, right? The kids, as a matter of fact, they have absolutely zero respect. But then the parents are defending the bad behavior, right? And we put up with that. That's what amazes me.
Well, society's unraveling absolutely everywhere you go. There's no borders to it. It's everywhere.
So the plan is working perfectly.
Yeah.
They're getting exactly what they want. The elites want this. But the people can't see it, man. And that's what gets me. They don't see what is happening and how they're using us. I seen it a long time ago, but no one would believe you. And I was trying to not be part of that problem. But when you try to wake somebody up, you get into, oh no, this ain't happening, conspiracy theorist. I said, who did? And then I would try to remind them, who do you think created the name that you're using, conspiracy? Huh? And they don't get it.
Yeah.
And
so what do you think what do you think these humanish, human-like, dog-like things, how does this all fit in, do you think?
They've been around the same as the Sasquatch all along. I haven't told you everything. First time I ever had an encounter with one, same damn time as a Sasquatch almost. I was around 5 or 6 years old, in the house, next to my bed, me and my brother. I don't know why it was there. But the only time I ever had all those experiences going forward was after I found myself on a silver table with all the needles being jammed to me as a little kid, and these creatures are all around me, right? It was after that, all of a sudden, now I got the dog, man. I got the Sasquatch. And then I'm able to feel when they're around, and I know their intent. I can feel the intent, and I'm like, it's like it turned on something. Even when I was out tracking people, I just had a feeling, hey, this guy's over here. One of those deals. When I'm laying down, a whole platoon is walking by, and nobody knows where I'm at, right? But I'm right beside you, that kind of thing. Because I just knew where they were. I don't understand it. I can't explain it. It just knew where they were, right? Do I still have that ability? I don't know. I noticed after I had this skull fracture, I had my skull kind of partially busted here. Yeah, military. Wonderful, right? After that happened, I stopped having a lot of stuff. I ended up moving over here shortly after that because I got real sick, and I haven't been in the woods since. So I don't know if I still have that ability or not. I know I still can sense if something is wrong, right, or something is wrong. I still have that, but the other part, I hope, but I do think that we have perishable skills, and if we don't use them, you lose them. I believe that 100%.
Absolutely. Intentionally not enhanced.
And I heard the lady talking about, some people talking about, look, Steve, I'm jumping around because I feel like I don't have enough time to cover everything. There's no way.
Well, you know what we should do? we like obviously you should listen to our conversation later on once it's posted, because this happens to me even just talking to people, you know, and you're gonna go, oh shit, and we'll just do this again, and then you can fill in some gaps.
A lot of gaps. I haven't told you about the other experiences and things like this that have happened, right? The demonic entities I had to deal with. That's what I said. Whatever this is, it's definitely demonic. And I believe the classified documents, I know the CIA and all these guys had a study on these things. I absolutely do believe they were trying to find, it's an existent creature already. It already existed, right? And they wanted to find a way to use this creature to do their bidding for their agenda. Exactly. Now you see, you know, and it was already here, and they said we knew that they were already existing Nephilim, right? A lot of these are in underground not installations, that wouldn't be the right word. They had their own habitat underground in a lot of areas. They had the ability to open portals so they could translate themselves from one place to another. That's why people were like, well, I see them here, but now they've disappeared. Maybe they might, yeah, they can migrate any way they want. Some have the ability to go through the portals, right? Now, human beings, yeah, they're using them to go through portals and do different things. Yeah, exactly.
Who do you think governs? Who do you think governs these Sasquatch people? Who are they scared of? Who keeps them in line? Originally.
Oh, wow. I think you got a dark group that they're afraid of. They're not afraid of. Yeah, it's a dark group of controllers above them. Like I said, I think this is all satanic. I mean, I had units I was in, I literally had to let them do satanic sacrifices and stuff. I mean, unfortunately. And there were some people higher up that I had met. I can't use names. Everybody on the planet knows who it is, too. God almighty, man. Let's just put it this way. There's some CIA guys, NSA guys, you'd be surprised who they are, and they like going out and they like to witness these murders and deaths and things like this. And they love to get a military. They like to get certain units trained up, and if they see that you annihilated a certain unit, the guy was out there, I thought he was actually having a sexual excitement. And then he was out there slobbering at the mouth, and I'm like, I can't believe this is one of our world leaders out here. The psychotic, psychopath, social, oh man, I just couldn't believe it. And you find out there's a group of them, and it seems like one group is trying to outdo the other, but they're all fighting for control. Right? And if you're not part of that, then you're the enemy, and they're going to find a way to discredit you in any way possible, or threaten you, or your family, or whatever. And I think that's who's controlling it, and they're answering to a higher power, and the majority of them, I believe, are satanic. And
absolutely,
unfortunately, I hate to say it, you know, and I think that's a reason that you have the human trafficking, the missing children. You know, I believe a lot of them are used in rituals. And are you still there? Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought I lost you.
No, I'm here. No, the thing is, it's easy. It's very, very simple for anybody to just hover out of the bubble for 2 seconds and take a look. Children are being raped by people in control, and not one person's in handcuffs, so there's no good guys in control. No matter what you think, there's nobody good in control right now.
Exactly right. And you would think that when you got a judge letting a rapist go, oh, he's got 37 charges and he stabbed a little girl to death on a train. See, I got a problem with that. You know, and that's what gets me, you know, this kind of thing. So it's not just that, it's also the judges, right, letting them go. And yeah, I know you might know the one I seen. UK, rape capital of the world now, you know, wonderful.
Yeah.
Little UK citizen can't even walk down the street in peace. US, depending on where you go, you know, if you don't get disrespected and beaten to death by a non-immigrant or illegal, then maybe you're going to have a problem because the kids don't even know what the first word respect means. You don't know which one. Take your pick.
There's a huge wave of culture crushing going on right now around the world.
Exactly. We got to create the chaos, make the people desperate, and we're going to give them a solution, and it's going to be the solution that they want to provide, and that's how they're going to control it, right? It's a very basic psychological operations, but they're so brilliant. They're good. I have to actually admire the skill set that they're using. I mean, I had to go to school for this stuff, you know, and I was like, man, you guys are following the manual, and then you've even come up with new stuff, right? They're using everything, including the kitchen sink. They're hitting us with everything.
It's pretty
And
slick.
why is that now?
I mean, it's obviously we've got about a whole pile of rabbit holes to dive down, but just this morning I saw a news blast from Spain as their one and only ocean border, land border with ocean right there, just got burst. And I think over 5,000 Moroccan military-age men, they got on video, it's clear as day, and they blew through the border. But when you look at them, it's like, okay, wait a minute. You got literally thousands of these young men. All they have on is a t-shirt, track pants, and running shoes. There's no backpacks with food to survive on until they get a job. There's no change of clothes with them. Nothing. It's just some weird shit going on. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, if I'm going to try to sneak into the United States because I have to save my ass, I'm going to go through Washington State forest with a backpack of food, sleeping bag, some kind of rain gear, obviously, shelter, change of clothes, just to get me going until I find a job in the greatest country in the world. You know what I mean? And it's so weird to observe what's going down. These guys are showing up with absolutely nothing. And men. And it's weird.
And that's what's, that's what's really bothering me, is because I really want to be, if I wasn't worried about trying to protect some of the family, I don't care about myself, Steve.
Yeah.
But I know that I have a responsibility. What kind of guy am I if I allow somebody to target my family and don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm trying, but I want to get the truth out there on this. A lot of guys died trying to get this stuff out. You know, that's the thing that really gets me.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It doesn't matter where we go or what we do. Yeah.
Let's do this, because we're at 2.5 hours already.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So why don't we do this? Why don't we wrap this up quick? And the day that I post this, we'll record again the same time. You know what I mean?
All right.
You want to do that? Because then it'll kind of, in a way, as this one's playing to the public, we'll be recording another one just in case somebody wants to cut off our communication, right?
I got you.
After we post the first one.
Yeah, I just want you to make me a promise, though, that you really watch your back. I hate to see you. Look, I know you're experienced and I trust you, and you know what you're doing. But sometimes a second set of eyes out there with you, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know the technology they got. Well, actually, I knew at that time. They're way ahead of me now, right? And that's what I worry about. Because you're doing something very, very important. And there's a group of military guys besides myself that all know this, but a lot of them just will not talk. They just will not come forward, you know? And you don't want to, they don't want to, like the guy with the Kandahar Giants. Boy, they really want to, what they did, the punishments that they did to some of those guys, wow. Like I said, like you said, you know, we'll have to talk another time, but what they did to some of these families and some of these people was to send them a message to keep quiet.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a sissy that threatens somebody's kids and her wife and her family, right? Well, we're not going to hurt you, but you have a family and you have a daughter, don't you? You know how they like to, yeah. All right,
Effective.
I'll shut up. God bless you, man. You know?
All right, hold on a minute here. Let me get this stop record.